nerfed, so it doesn't do like over 1,000 damage to the tower, but that's still a pretty solid start for EGW.
It felt like the game was over before if you let a giant skeleton connect ever, and obviously it is difficult to get that giant skeleton on tower, but the fact that I think it was a very necessary nerf because it was showing up. I can't remember which monthly finals it was, maybe like 4 months ago. It was just everywhere.
Man, Evolve's feeling the pressure here. Or really just one small mistake there on some impatience from the Bard Barrel. And all of a sudden, this Furnace is baiting out an entire set of Skeleton Dragons. EGW is up a lot of Elixir now. He's probably going to be pretty happy to make a push. Problem is, Evolve does have the Mother Witch, so Evolve also kind of prepared here for the opposing win condition.
All right, guys, we are live. We are live on...
Can I get them to play the Mother Witch out of cycle to get that graveyard in? And
we are live on YouTube, horizontal and vertical this time, I promise. And Twitch, of course. So we are joining in a little late today. Good news for us since we are Hog XC players, most of you guys anyway. Mo did beat Gearco. Remember, Gearco was one of the guys that knocked Viper out of the World Qualify spot based on points. So that went our way, and then I believe something in this match, I think it's Evolve. I think we want EGW to win. But yeah, they were talking about it earlier, so we'll see for sure. And by the way, guys, I do have open the little event thing that you can get the points, and I think at the end there's like an emote. Yeah, the eBabe emote. So I will be calling that out for you guys too as it pops up. But yeah, let's just go ahead and listen and see what they have to say. EGW is about to finish Buddy off. He just really has to cycle back to another poison. And tournament standard, I think he may have needed like a snowball too, but it's GG's right here.
Staying alive.
Wow.
And
unbelievable.
Is that his clinch? Does he clinch with that? Because I think he still needs to win one more.
Yeah, I don't know if it's tough.
Yeah.
Because you said he needs to get to top 5 or top 6 in order to get enough points.
He's got to make it through one more round. So one step closer to
the
World
how's it
Finals.
going?
Is EGW pulling off?
How's it going, Turnip? How you doing, bro? Yeah, no, it's all good. Basically yesterday I had like some technical difficulties trying to get the vertical and horizontal up, so that's why it looks like there's like 4 different streams, because I was ending and redoing and testing, but all good.
Of the situation where EGW was feeling some nerves, a couple small mistakes, but with a deck this expensive, a small mistake is a big mistake because you're spending a lot of elixir to not clean up something from Evolve, and Evolve with the mortar deck really just rain it down. He applied enough pressure in the opposite lane. He forced EGW to switch lanes. He was then up enough damage at one point that, like you said, he just locked down with the mortar. Game 2 was really the big mistake from Evolve. He's got a great matchup here. He's got a quick cycle, and he's got 2 very solid air defenses. And EGW doesn't have a very cheap way of taking out any of the air defenses either. Vines plus Fireball is a 7 elixir combo in order to take off a single Furnace. And you saw in the middle game there where the defense was just so
there we go. So I
strong.
think the chat window is set up now too, so I'll be able to see that, respond to y'all there. Yeah, so yeah, basically right now I believe, by the way, with Evolve getting knocked off here, I believe that means that Viper will be in a better spot for the standings, but I'm sure they'll show a chart on that soon.
So as you can see in the lower bracket here, 3 of our players that are still hoping to make it: Coco, EGW, and Dominic. Coco obviously with a tougher matchup here going up against Mo Light. Dominic and EGW, though, will face off in our lower bracket 3rd round as we move to the upper bracket, where we see Mugi, Sub.
But yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I keep an eye out on the this little points thing, but I haven't seen it pop up yet. So as soon as I see it, I'll let you guys know. Connection paused. Oh, okay. That's fine. Oh, word. Okay, so yeah, it wasn't. I guess my iPad hadn't refreshed on it, so I'll just watch it here on the phone. Who do you think will win? Obviously, I'm gonna vote Mo. Yeah. So that's good that EGW did not win there. Poor guy.
And like you said, EGW continues to accumulate some points. If he gets eliminated right now, he gets plus 225 points. He needs one
Aria,
more win to
hello, how
really
you doing?
start to solidify himself, to start pushing Morton out of that top 12. And then at that point, Morton's going to need someone who
Okay,
doesn't have a
so it
golden
looks
ticket
like
already to in the top 12 to
it looks like Mo's about to play again. So yeah, just on screen, obviously I voted for Mo to win, but yeah. Yeah, we're doing a double lower bracket, which is I think they usually ping pong back and forth. But so yeah, we're gonna be doing it'll be double lower bracket right now, and then we'll see who's gonna be the next one up.
He played that Hog Wizard deck with guards that had trouble keeping up, and then no success with Drill for Coco.
good lucks from both players. Mighty Mine in the back for Coco, most likely going to be Hog. Ghost, most likely going to be the Piggy's Furnace Goblin Hut deck that is starting to solidify itself as just, I don't know, I want to say an evergreen deck. This kind of Ghost Piggy's idea started, I want to say, a couple seasons ago, or whenever the Evo Ghost was added to the game, really. But even after the Ghost nerfs, it seems like it's still such a solid combo with a large amount of synergy.
I know, it feels like it's just gotten stronger over time, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no King Tower activation there for Mo.
Yeah, I think part of the reason there is, well, there's two ideas, right? The first is the fact that Goblin Hut is a little bit of a larger hitbox than a active building like a cannon, for example. But it's also just the fact that it's spawning that one spear goblin. So Firecracker just targeting that one spear gob instead of the Goblin Hut itself, kind of preventing that king activation. You could play your Goblin Hut one more tile down to guarantee the king activation, but then you get in a situation where that Hog Rider's not going to get pulled. So I like the patience from Mo. He's thinking, you know, I can get this king activation later. Let's just make sure the Hog is not getting to my tower right now.
And another Hog comes in, but easily defended as Mo Light himself gets on offense, and now doing what you're talking about, Juicy, getting that king up right on cue. And these Piggies should get a little bit of damage on that right-hand side as a Hog comes down on the right-hand side as well, thinking of going same lane as the Hog does get a hit.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is the importance of cycling to your Evos in Clash Royale. He gets out-cycled, he's in a tough position after spending a lot of elixir for a king activation, but he has the Evo Ghost in cycle. So all of a sudden, you know, you go from taking 2-3 hog hits with your ghost to taking only one with the help of those ghouls.
That's a great call. Yeah, I mean, I always hear it on your streams, and we always see it on the biggest stages, is just get...
All right, so yeah, now I think I have the iPad set up properly for y'all.
Of cards that are cycled, you know, RG is a big standout to me, the Royal Giant, when you think of...
So that I can go ahead and call out whenever these things pop up if you guys were trying to get that eBabes emote. So basically, to be you're cute, we should talk more. I appreciate you, AE. So basically, who in this matchup right here? So obviously, in a close match, we would think Mo's gonna win because it's Mo. But who do y'all think has matchup technically? Because I'm a Hog XE player, but I don't play Hog EQ, so I'm not exactly sure. I mean, they both have buildings, but the EQ has the EQ obviously. But then with Piggies, you know, the defense gets a little hairy there with just cannon. He has to use the mighty bomb on the pigs usually. Coco would, but I mean, I guess he has Bart Barrel too, so I'm not exactly sure. But I mean, obviously Mo's winning right now. Mo is clearly the more like experienced, and of course he plays piggies quite frequent. So yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think on this one, like yeah, he's got Evo Cannon, but I feel like it's slightly. Your mic's extremely quiet, by the way. Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. My bad. Is it better now? There we go. I think I was messing with the OBS and I was messing with the display sound and I think I accidentally turned down my mic, but we should be good now. Just let me know. Okay, so Coco's coming back a little bit here. That Evo Fireclapper is always annoying to deal with because it feels like she can hit tower from so far away. It's kind of diabolical, to be honest. Yeah, pretty hard to stop those piggies there, though. I think Mo is going to take it unless he gets a late Hog Rider cheese here. The sound's a bit crazy still. I turned down the audio on. Yeah, that fixed it. Okay. Yo, Andrew Cabrera, how's it going, bro? Appreciate you coming in. Yeah, it might be on a bit of a delay. I just had to turn my mic back on. Juicy, I like Juicy. He's a good commentator. Uh, I'm not too sure about Andrew, but I know that what's his name? Rick, I think, that was on yesterday. He's kind of, if y'all remember, I think it was like 2 monthly finals ago. There was like two separate occasions where one of the players had a champion instead of a hero, and he kept calling out. He's like, "Wow, he's not using a hero slot. He's not using a hero slot, blah, blah, blah." And the whole chat was spamming, like, he's got a champion that counts. It's like he didn't realize that champions count as heroes, but. So yeah, let's see what Juicy's saying right now.
Then you are in that situation we get damage. And we saw that in single elixir. Fortunately for Mo, he had his Evo Ghost and Cycle to really lock that down and not allow too much. But you're so right. If you're able to protect those firecrackers, there's all of a sudden a situation where you're not putting just one, but two Hog Riders in front of that firecracker and really starting to apply a lot of pressure to your opponent.
Yeah, Mo just really on top of what his biggest threat was and dealt with it very adequately. Yeah. And Mo looking a lot like Pedro from a few years ago, running Minor Poison or Mortar, where it was like, you know he's going to play it. He's just going to keep playing it over and over. And that's Mo with piggies right now. Mo just, like, he's now leaned on.
See, the thing is, Mo's so good. Like, not to be a Mo Glazer, but he's so good, especially with pigs. Like, they could know he's going to play pigs, and he's still going to be able to outplay them. Like, it's not even really... like it's not really even that big of like a deal for him because he just has so many different ways to kind of outplay it. All right, here we go. We got Mo in here. I don't think Coco impacts Viper.
Well said. Because, I mean, the only thing that we've seen that consistently is able to stop it is Mo Light himself running the Minor Rocket Dark Prince deck, or not even Minor. Like, Minor's not even the deck anymore. It's just Princess Rocket. And I feel like that's something where it
So
takes,
crazy.
yeah, it takes a lot of courage, I'll say. It takes a lot of courage to actually run a deck like that at the highest level. So, yeah, I don't know. It's like he's just
All right, so we've got. Oh, is Mo? You know what? Mo might be playing minor, like a minor rocket. Okay, no, he's got Hog. I was gonna say because I think earlier, just before I was streaming, there was somebody was running like a minor control, kind of like Nate's minor control rocket. But when I saw the fire clapper, I wasn't sure because sometimes people have put that sort of thing in there instead of like another little card in terms of because if they want to save certain other cards, they put it in place. But I guess with the Dark Prince and then the Rog Hider, we saw this deck yesterday actually. Kind of weird because Dark Prince, I don't think he really fills the gap of like what a Mighty Miner would be used for, or like even a Hero Valkyrie. But it applies more pressure, of course. Oh, and then the Gold Knight to dodge and get straight to the tower. That was pretty solid. But yeah, Coco's gonna have Drill Mega Knight. Do we think that's kind of like a snipe, almost, in terms of like trying to guess what Mo's gonna play? Because the Evo Mega Knight, like thinking that Mo would play Hog. But I don't know. Do we really ever see Mega Knight with Drill? It's kind of an odd. It's like a Drill bridge spam deck. I think Mo's gonna. Mm, I mean, Mo's up on damage right now, but yeah, all it's gonna take is one like big swamp push with the Mega Nuts here. Mo hasn't shown his spell. I would assume it's gonna be. I guess it could be Earthquake. I guess that would make sense, but I was gonna say, or it could be Lightning, because he hadn't like used it yet. So there he goes. He goes ahead and gets that one. That one he played that very well because that matchup could have gotten really hairy really quickly, mainly with the Mega Nut. So Mo's gonna take the 2-0 there. Yeah, that was pretty. What I voted on that one. Yeah, I've never seen MK drill before. Yeah, me either. Yeah, I saw when I voted for that one, it was like a almost 90% voted for Mo. So it looks like, guys, right now, it looks like for the point thing to get the emote, it looks like they're just doing predictions. Whereas I remember in the finals, like a couple times ago when I did it, they were doing, it was like different kind of questions. It wasn't just predictions. Um, so yeah, if any of those pop up, I will let you know. But for now, it just looks like we're doing predictions. Okay, actually, I lied. Here it is. What type of path do evolved elite barbarians create? Poison, flame, rage, slowdown. Obviously, pick rage. There we go. Yeah, make sure you pick rage on that. Okay, then I unlocked the chest. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get the eBay because emote because I didn't participate yesterday. So
Pieces of that deck from Coco where you think, okay, he's got Snowball, he's got NATO to bring Hog to King Tower, you know, Mega Knight, Evo Mega Knight to knock that Hog back. So many of the pieces that you would look at and go, okay, I'm in a decent spot. Molite shuts all that down without batting an eye as he continues to move into our fourth round of the lower bracket. Next up, we have EGW going up against Dominic. It's good to see.
I feel like this is a common occurrence. Okay, who's Mo's going or no EGW going against SK? I'm gonna vote SK. I think SK is gonna get it. Um, I feel like this is a normal occurrence. How do you vote? Okay, so you go in Clash, and then there's like the little, I think it's events tab, and it'll show like the August monthly finals, and you click on that, and it brings you to this thing. You don't have to watch it. Like I have it on my iPad, but it's not actually. Here, I'll show you. So I have it here. It's like opened up a tab in Safari, and I'm not actually, I didn't hit play on it, and all of the prediction stuff is on the side. So like it'll just pop up kind of like here. And it will immediately like link to your account when you get the like rewards or whatever. But so I feel like this is a common occurrence with Mo. He always seems to he'll in some of these finals, he'll drop down to the lower bracket and then he'll just like clean house all the way, and then he'll get to the end. And remember, that's how he beat Cal Sub, when he like 6-0'd him or something, 5-0, whatever it was. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
There's not two people that can win a golden ticket that can bump Viper up. It's just not going to happen.
And the last thing you want is to be in that LCQ spot, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just so much pressure. You talk about the pressure of today. You know, even if you don't have the World Finals ticket today, you still in your mind go, I've got one more chance. The LCQ, it's got that name for a reason. As Dominic, good to see his face back on the CRL screen, top of your screen there. And EGW at the bottom.
Okay, looks like we're just heading into a mortar mirror matchup.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Super strong deck. EGW with a slightly different variation, as in EGW style with the Evo Furnace.
I got to admit, I like seeing, you know, just a little twist.
All right, so it looks like here EGW is going to have this, like, I don't think it doesn't look like he's running the completely busted version that has E-Babes. However, it looks like SK is running the busted murder version, I can't speak, with E-Babes. So that, I think that's going to be SK's last card. It'll be Evo Mortar. EGW is going to use it. We've seen this all throughout the, hold on, guys. Okay, no, it was a bot popped up in the Twitch chat, but that's fine. Let me see, no, okay. So we've seen this mortar with the Goblinstein deck multiple times this weekend, and it's popped up in ladder like a little bit recently. So I guess in this match, EGW is really, he just kind of went to run the Furnace rather than the E-Babes, which is why he's going to have Rascals. Technically, I don't know. I mean, obviously the E-Babes are going to be more pressure, but I feel like the Rascals Furnace one could, deeper in the game, get a little bit more annoying. He said, it just asked me who my favorite player is. Yeah, so it's like, it's, when it asks the questions, it has like a minute countdown timer, because that's the reason they do it, is because they're trying to get people to like engage with it more rather than you like leave it open. So it'll, as it goes, they'll randomly pop up. So that's why like I'll call them out to you guys so that you could, if you don't want to pay attention to it, you could get to it quickly. It is kind of annoying though, because I remember last time I had to like walk away for a couple minutes, I think, and I ended up missing like one of them, and then I didn't get whatever the emote is. So it's kind of, I don't think a lot of people necessarily care about it, because it's kind of, you know, if you don't have like multiple devices, you don't really want to sit there having to like hawk it. But yeah, let me can I like ban this? Yeah, ban. Ban forever. No, just kidding. It was it was just a little. I guess on Twitch they have like stream bots because I'll always get these little like pop-up messages. It'll be like, do this, get more viewers, blah blah, and I think they usually have a link, and it's anyway. So here, this is pretty good. He's gonna get one from the Evo Mortar, and then he's got the Goblin Stein, getting some damage here. But EGW does have a pretty sizable lead, so it's kind of just evened it out. And he went quite hard, so now it's his turn with the Evo Mortar. So this is where I think minions are definitely better because they can just go like right over the bridge and then go ahead and take the mortar out. However, if he had a furnace there, then those would have been null and void, and I don't think it would have stopped it immediately right there. I think what we're gonna see, yeah, right now is it's just gonna be if SK can get back to another poison. Yeah, so that's gonna go ahead and take it for SK there because yeah, it was pretty close. But EGW just didn't have enough time to get to another fireball. And that was crazy because EGW was winning that whole time and then SK just got the damage right there. I voted for SK because I just thought that SK, I've seen his name pop up more. So I just figured he's probably gonna be the better all around player there.
Doom kind of bites the bait, goes after it, and then he sells out on the left-hand side. But then maybe EGW just overextends a little bit offensively, thinking he can just kind of take that tower. And I love what Dominic did. He goes, all right, Evo Mortar, Evo E-Barbs, and let's just see what happens. And he is able to come out on top by just a little bit.
Man, we talked about yesterday about how certain decks translate different skills towards other decks and how it's more difficult for beatdown players to transfer their skills to meta decks like Mortar Cycle. And
what Juicy was trying to nicely say there is beatdown players don't always have the most skill. I love how he said it. He was like beatdown players struggle to transfer their skills from that to other decks, and it's like, yeah, I mean, at the top, at the highest levels, right? Beatdown players, you know, you still have to have some skill with it, but you will typically see they can't just go pick up like cycle decks and things like that because they're not even used to the really like micro interactions. It's a lot of like macro playing the heavy units. So while like it still takes some skill to be like, okay, let that go or play this here so that it can defend and then go this way and help with the push, blah blah blah. Like it doesn't translate to like the larger game. So some of us, you know, some people don't really care because if you're just playing this game for fun, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But
because the fireball's
Yeah.
quicker and your cycle isn't that much slower. If he gets 2 fireballs out to match Dominic's 2 poisons, I think EGW just wins that game.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the point that you guys made about, you know, translating skills. I think that is such a great thing to focus on. And yeah, like you said, Lava Hound, that's the name of the game. You have to know when to sack a tower, when to take 2,000 damage, just so you can get that push going. And that's exactly what Dominic did. I think he was sitting there going, all right, I've got my E-Barbs and I've got my Mortar and Cycle. Go ahead, go for it. I can take this damage. I can defend just well enough, but you're not going to be able to deal with what I have coming your way. And now Dominic, perfect with Mortar on the weekend. A clean 4-0 in the games that he's played with his variations of Mortar. The only thing changing really is, you know, the small spell and a couple support cards, but that Evo E-Barbs plus Gobstein Evo Mortar combo has been running it for him, and he's been poisoned with it every single time.
As we head into this game,
all right, so EJW's pulling out the Exy and the Giant Skelly. Pretty much whenever you see Exy in CRL right now, that's always going to be that balloon deck. So the Giant Skelly just confirms it. And then SK is going to be playing, I would assume, the busted bridge spam deck, but he did just use Elite Barbs, so he will not be able to use them here. So I think he'll probably have Ghost instead of it, which is what the version used to run before the Elite Babes became everywhere and absolutely diabolical. Okay, so he's going to have Heal Spirit. Interesting. So his last card, remind me what that last card should be. I guess it could be a spell, right? Could be like Fireball or something. Okay, no. Giant Skelly. I'm an idiot. I should have known that. I think though, there is a version that's been going around that doesn't have the Giant Skelly, but that one would have, yeah, Bar Barrel could have been, it could have been Bar Barrel too. You know, there's so many of these like bridge spam versions that have been popping up now where they like cycle in these little cards just because the concept of bridge spam right now with all the high pressure stuff is very very busted. In this particular matchup, I'm not sure who I would say has like technically matchup here because okay, so EJW gets a late bomb tower there. So yeah, it's looking like SK is going to take this one again. I would say it's harder. It's like kind of harder for SK because he doesn't have a building. Although, even though he doesn't have a building, he still has Zappies, Hero Wizard, or Vines for the balloon. Either way, I think SK is just kind of showing his better like all-rounded skills here, and he's kind of just obliterating EJW. With that being said, though, if EGW can get like a nice defense and kind of put together like a balloon push and kind of cheese him, then he could definitely still take this one. As we saw at the mortar game, right? EGW was holding control and then he kind of folded that just that one time and SK got him. So it could happen the other way too, right? Now I think the Ram dodges here. Yeah, so it's going to dodge the bomb tower, but he's able to kill it before. Although there's a raged up barbarian there. Okay, so the miner does get down and block that in time. Let's see here. He's going to have, okay, so it looks like he's going for the push right now, but I was going to say he has to be careful because if he doesn't, those piggies and the giant skelly will just obliterate the tower. So this is the other thing. EJW hasn't even really been able to build up a push, and SK is doing a really good job of not allowing that to happen. So, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's still close here, right? Like he's got to stop this. Okay, see, but then he has the vines. It looks like, yeah, SK is going to take it. Unless, no, actually, EJW gets a last little. What was it? Was it just the miner on tower there? I thought the miner was on the ghost or whatever right there. Wow, he snuck that. I didn't think he was gonna be able to get it, especially because that push. If you guys saw that push, like right there at the end. Here, let me. It was like. Yeah, it was like right here. I thought the wizard was gonna take it for sure. But then what he did was he did a really nice tornado, killed everything. And let's see. Oh, see, and this is what I was talking about. If he can get one balloon push that kind of overwhelms, but man, that miner got so much damage. I didn't realize that it was going to be able to do that. That was yeah, that was really well played. So that does force a game too. So it's not over for Mr. SK. So I feel like they both have. Hold on. So I feel like they both have solid defense against each other. Yeah, I think for sure. They had solid defense. It was kind of just whichever one of them was going to fold first. And surprisingly, SK folded. Yeah, nerf miner. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to be able to get all that damage at the end there, but he just quickly took like 400 damage off. Rip miner though. I was kind of random when they nerfed him last time, I would have to say. But it was just that deck that was popped up everywhere. They always seem to they love doing that. When a deck pops up that's busted, they like obliterate those cards, which kind of sucks because then it obliterates other decks um, without really, intending to.
Whew, that was incredible.
Chances are alive, but job's not done. There's still one game left of this best of 3 in EGW. I mean, the pressure's got to continue to mount, right? Like it's there's no relief yet. And looking at the locked card, all right, tell me.
We haven't seen RG, which we saw a lot of RG yesterday. We haven't seen RG yet, so I think one of them might pull out RG, and I think the other one's going to pull out Hog Rider. Because if you look, they both got Fireclapper available. They've both got I think Mighty, right? I'm trying to find it on the list. They both used Bar Barrel though, so they won't be able to use that. SK has Fireball. They both have Lightning available. So yeah, I would assume we're gonna see potentially Hog EQ from at least one of them, and maybe RG for the next.
Plus Snowball a couple times
all based on the data
over this weekend, and I wonder if he goes back to the well, as he has found pretty good success. He's played some variation of Graveyard Poison plus Goblin Hut and Snowball. It looks like 5 separate times he's gone 3 and 2 with that, so we'll see if that's something he wants to go back to. But obviously with EGW, anything is up for grabs. We saw that crazy.
We haven't seen a lot of Graveyard Freeze. We've seen Graveyard, but not necessarily Graveyard Freeze in this tournament. It's interesting, though, it is how Freeze was taking over, like, top ladder past couple days, and I don't think we've really seen Freeze at all in CRL, which makes sense because, when he fails the split E-Babes, EGW does. Rip. So he's going to take a lot of damage on the left, but he's busting. We were just talking about Freeze. I think EGW is going to have Freeze in this Rune Giant deck. He's going to be busting out the Diabolical one. Maybe not, though, because he's got Rage. It's kind of odd, I'd have to say, to use Rage because you have the Evo E-Babes that are going to Rage anyway. But maybe based on the spells, that might have been why he pulled that out. I'm surprised though that SK went Piggies. In this matchup in particular though, it's gonna depend. So SK could have Fireball or Lightning. Now the reason I say it depends is because that Inferno Dragon could be potentially trouble. Obviously he could keep it distracted with a couple different things. But if he does not have Lightning, then if later in the game, if he gets a big like E-Babes Rune Giant Inferno push going, that would be quite hard for him to stop with just Fireball. Okay, so each player has shown their heroes and potential champions. Yeah. I said Rune Giant, LP, and E-Barbs in professional Clash Royale. I know, I mean, that's what it's come to, you know? Like, people used to say, even with Mega Knight, they used to say, like, that was just a mid-ladder problem. But then we started seeing the Mega Knight bridge spam variant in CRL and every freaking set, right? And it's the same thing that we're seeing here, the high pressure of the Rune Giant E-Babes with the Phoenix. And we haven't seen that much Rune Giant in CRL, but the E-Babes is in every, they've been in every single set. You know, one thing that we haven't seen much of is the hero Valkyrie. Now, as a hero Valkyrie user, I don't know, since in Hog Xe we don't spam it, I don't know if hero Valkyrie is like completely busted and needs a nerf, or if she's fine, because the overshadowing of Hero Berserker and Evo E-Babes is so much that it just seems that, you know, we just haven't seen much of the Valkyrie because they've used that in place, and since the E-Babes are expensive, they pair it with Golden Knight usually. So EGW does have the freeze here, by the way, so okay, but SK does have lightning, so that's what he's going to have for him. He has lightning and log, so he'll be able to take out the push, because lightning will leave E-Babes on like one tap, but with the log it'll take them out. So best situation for SK here, because if he had Fireball, he'd be in a lot of trouble. But as you see, SK's got almost both towers down. Hero Valkyrie's potential to get to tower can be insane. Yeah, for sure. You know, by the way, I think they kind of sneakily, without saying anything, nerfed her pathfinding a little bit. Just because I noticed beginning of the season, it was like crazy. And then I noticed later in the season, there were so many times where I thought she would chain, but she didn't. But I do agree that her, especially if you pair it with Tornado, then the only way to stop her is like the heavy units with the large hitbox. But yeah, I always thought SK was going to win this one, but EJW did surprise me in the second game there. Honestly, I think with that like extreme no skill deck that EGW just pulled out, which I guess makes sense because he's a beatdown player, I felt like he really should have taken that game. Now, the thing with, like we were just talking about SK, he did have lightning log, so that's kind of what saved him. But other than that, I still feel like he should have been able to do better. SK kind of just completely shut him down there, which I guess since he has the quick cycle with like piggies and the cycle cards, he was able to not allow EGW to really build up like a mega push that he was probably trying to go for that whole time.
We've just watched, first match of this game, this was insane. EGW, it really felt like this was the game where EGW missed his win. Just a little bit nervous. It seems like he always starts off his best of threes a little bit nervous, makes one mistake, and that's all it takes to lose.
By the way, guys, there is a random loot drop that just happened. If you have the little like question thingies up, it's a random loot drop. It's like 50 points or something.
His mind. He had an insane zap, tornado plus giant skeleton bomb defense to take out seemingly Dominic's entire deck, allowing his balloon death damage connection to win him that game. And then the final match, I just don't know, man. I don't think this is the deck that you bring when your world finals qualification is on the line. I think you got to bring something a little bit standard. You got to give yourself.
I mean, I agree with what Juicy said there on potentially not bringing that kind of deck. See, like, look at this. Gyurko qualified over Morton and Viper by 5 points. 5 points only. Man, that's such a rip. So yeah, it looks like Viper is gonna have to thug it out in the lower. So I agree with what Juicy was saying, but at the same time, I think EJW knew that his best chance was gonna be to try to cheese SK with like a really high pressure spammy deck. And so I think that's why he went with it, especially because it's been going crazy in ladder. But of course, since it failed, it's one of those where it's like if he pulled it off, you would praise it. But since he failed, you're like, should he really have done that?
Already have locked in. Really, Asaf is the only newcomer.
Yeah. Yeah, this is intense. It's going to be a great.
Okay, so who do you guys think Cal Sub, which is he's pretty much just been kind of dwarfed by Mo quite a lot recently in the tournaments, or Mugi? I think if this was 2 years ago, I'd say Mugi, but I think now I'd have to go with Cal Sub. Like Mugi could definitely still win, but I just mean in terms of recent, Cal Sub seems to be outclassing him. I'm gonna go Cal. Most people were picking Mugi though.
Andrew Mugi, one of our 2 Clash Royale world champions.
I love Mugi, man. I just love the way he plays the game. When he is dialed in,
Yeah.
he is unbeatable. He really, really is. Like, you talk about a best of 7 between Mugi and Mo at the top of their game. That would be like the most peak Clash Royale thing I've ever seen. And Sub, you said it yesterday, Juice. Can he go from the king of consistency to the king of Clash Royale?
Yeah.
And it seems like in 2026, it could be his time. He has
I
been
know.
right there on the cusp for years, and he has just gotten better and better and better, not losing a step as he plays from his soundproof room. And Mugi's sitting right next to it. You see there one of his 2 world championship trophies. This is going to be one for the books. Let's go.
Okay, so Mugi bringing out a Bay deck. We did see actually some success. I believe it was from.
You said, I don't really follow pro CR, but I've heard more about Mugi. Yeah, so because Mugi's like more of the, like how you say, OG. I think he's won like just before Mo. He was winning the championships, and then Sub is like he's kind of like a newcomer, but like Sub is the one that Mo beat last year in CRL, 5-0 in the final, because Cal won the upper bracket and Mo won the lower. So then when they went to battle at the end, Mo had to beat him. They had to play 2 sets, and Mo had to beat him in both of them, right? Because Cal hadn't lost yet, and Mo had lost to be in the lower. And Mo didn't lose a single game. He won out. And then in monthly finals, I want to say 2 times ago, Mo beat Cal to win it. But Cal's pretty much always in it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's got the golden ticket as well. But so this one's really a toss-up, to be honest. Kind of a diabolical bait deck. Did you say 5-0? Yeah, he beat him 5-0. Because I think it was best of 7. Yeah, so Mugi's breaking out the... It's kind of like Hypno Logbait deck, almost. And then Cal's opting for the Piggy's Furnace. Now, the Valkyrie by Mugi is going to get a lot of value in this deck. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. When you're using Furnace, those Fire Spirits, now that it spawns more, it's better. It even performs better. So it's just going to give more value in terms of that hero Valkyrie for sure. This is the deck Hypno currently runs. Yeah, yeah, because Hypno was running. He was running 2 spirits, and then of course when they nerfed it, he took out. I think he took out Fire Spirit, or he might interchange him. I don't know. I don't watch him too much, but I like when I face people playing his deck. If they play it really well, it's so hard, even with Valkyrie and Exy, because the pure spam, like you just have to defend. And so when I lose the matchup, it's because I'm trying to get too aggressive. Like you can't give in to their spam, the Hypno deck, but like the sheer amount of pressure it can do and just spam is insane. So especially in the hands of Mugi, this deck could definitely do well for him. But the issue is Cal has Furnace and E-Spirit, as well as Barbell, of course. So the E-Spirit is going to get quite a lot of value, as well as the Fire Spirits from the Furnace. Going to get quite some value in this matchup. But Mugi is a little bit ahead right now. But remember, with Pigs and the Furnace and the Fire Spirits, like that could switch immediately. Um, if Mugi is especially deep in triple here, if Mugi doesn't keep like a princess on the board or something for the Evo Pigs, then they could get him. But it does look like Mugi is going to take it. I think Cal's just running out of time, really, because this is the thing. He's just constantly spamming, so Cal's not even able to build up a push, really. And it does get close there at the end with the lightning, but he just wasn't able to take it. Sub seems to have really good answers to his deck. Yeah, yeah. He had so this is the thing. Even when you have the really good answers against Hypno deck, the pure spam like nonstop is just it's just so hard to like, because you can't press in and try to defend all the time, especially when he's got all these 2 and 3 elixir cards that he can just spam down. So that was really well played from Mugi, because that is so typically that the Hypno deck is looked at as like a lower skill because it's spammy, but at the higher echelons of the game, especially when you're facing a player that has counters, that's when it becomes extremely high skill, because it's your job to try to defend as efficiently as possible, and then also pressure at the same time so that they can't use their counters correctly against you. So Mugi displayed really good skill with the deck there, for sure. I'll change it like that on the vertical just for now until they get back into a game here. And that's the thing, when they're playing here, I believe they have like a timer on when they have to queue. So sometimes one of them will like tactically wait. He'll sit there and like wait um, for the timer. It's kind of like mind games, anticipation. I don't think we've ever seen somebody get DQ'd for not queuing in time. Although if you guys watch Oxalate, I remember when he was trying to qualify for this, and his opponent waited till like the absolute last second. Here, let me try to. There we go. And I'll pull that away so you guys it doesn't block the view. All right. Okay, so Turnip, do you have any idea what Mugi like typically plays? Does anybody know? Because I'm trying to think what they might play next here. Because I don't know. I've heard of Mugi and obviously Sub, but sub, I've seen him play like all kinds of things, so I don't really know what his like favorite style is. I think doesn't I I want to say I've seen Mugi play RG on ladder a bit, but I'm not exactly certain.
With the Royal Hogs, but I guess it's more so talking about Mugi going into, I saw that deck yesterday and it was really, really good. And he just brings it out against the guy that brought it to the table and takes a W off of him. Just immaculate gameplay from our 2-time world champion. Here we go. Game number 2 coming your way. Sub at the top, Mugi at the bottom. Mugi goes, all right, I'm going to go back to the well here.
I guess that was a good guess on the RG, but I thought Mugi was going to play it. Looks like Cal's pulled out the RG. I mean, it could still be something else. Every once in a while, you see like a random deck, but the Monk pretty much confirms it'll be RG. And then Mugi is opting to run the Furnace Piggies. Yeah, we've seen that version a lot. If you guys know, like in the past couple metas, sometimes we've seen a couple different versions of Piggies pop up, but it seems like this Piggies Furnace, especially with the new Hero Berserker, is just kind of, the complete solid pick by all of the pros. It's the one that we're seeing the most in CRL at least. By the way, guys, speaking of the new Hero Berserker, have you guys seen, if you look on Clash Royale's YouTube, when they posted yesterday, it looks like a teaser. They did the letter stuff again. I don't even know what font that is, but everybody translated it. It says like past, present, future. And then they showed Hero Valk, Hero Berserker, E-Babes, and then at the very end, I think they showed Hero Ewiz, maybe? But I'm not sure. And then remember, with Ken's TV Royale, they pretty much confirmed it'll be Hero Ice Wizard. Also, the first post there, I think, is Hero Hog Rider. But by looking at the picture, I can't tell what his ability is going to be. And then I think there was like 2 more in there, but not exactly sure. Anyway, if we get Hero Hog Rider next season, that would be phenomenal. I know a lot of people would hate that, but and I mean, I'd probably hate facing it in 2.6 to be honest, but as a Hog XE enjoyer, I would love that for sure. Anyway, here with this Piggies version, pretty much everybody that's played it has played it with Lightning, which Mugi does have available. Yeah, Hero Hog Rider. I think so. If you on the Clash Royale's YouTube post, they were you know what? I might be able to pull it up on a different tab over here. I'm gonna pull it up just to show you. Let me search Clash. And then go to post. Why I didn't get a notification of stream? Oh, I'm not sure. It might have been like it might have been glitching out a little bit. I'm not exactly sure. That sucks because I've seen you said that a couple times. It's not getting you the notifications. But so we'll go back to the match in a second. But look, so I think this on the front page. So basically, this whatever this text is here, it just says past, present, future. Potentially Hero Hog, and then Rune Giant. So people were saying she might get a hero, and then people were thinking this was going to be maybe Graveyard. but he's got arrows in the back, so I'm not sure if that means he's going to be, if it's kind of the same thing as like Skelly army. And then the Hero Berserker, E-Babes, Valk. And then some people were confused about this. This is from Merge Tactics. So maybe this is just, they're going to some kind of hero thing in Merge Tactics, unless they're bringing this to the main Clash Royale. That would be cool, because we don't, if you guys know, in like Clash of Clans, we have dragons, like the big dragons, as opposed to just like baby dragon and electro dragon. We have the big normal dragon. So the reason they didn't put it in Clash Royale is because they were saying that it was too big for the map. So maybe if we get that one, that could work. But so this, the face is blurred, but I believe it's going to be, to me it looks like E-Wiz, because this looks like an electric bolt and his hair. But we do know that there'll be Hero Ice Wiz, so maybe it could be him, and you know, hinting at his ability. We'll just have to see. But okay, guys, by the way, so yeah, here's another look at Hero Hog. But real quick, there is another quiz question for if you guys are doing the points thing. It says, who won the 2026 China Championship Cup and qualified for the World Finals? The choices are Hermit, Eerie, Frontier Guard, or Zyhan. I'm going to pick Zyhan. Oh, the answer was Hermit. Okay, so the answer is Hermit. Honestly, I'd never heard of those guys, so I had no idea. But yeah, the answer is Hermit if you guys are doing that. You have like 10 seconds left, I think. That one went by quick. I think it only gave 30 seconds on that one. Yo, Sahib, is that how you say it? Hey, bro, how's it going? Okay, and then the next one here says, who do you think will win? The vote is between Cal Pedro and Adriel. Oh, this is a tough one. By the way, Moogie beat Cal. I'll play that in the background for you guys, because I know we were looking at the hero stuff. Okay, so yeah, it looks like I'll put it like right here. Between Cal and Adriel. Usually, I would say Adriel, but Cal Pedro has been doing really well recently. And if we look at this current meta, yeah, I'm going to pick Pedro. I'm going to pick Pedro. But it could go either way, and the voting is like 50-50 on that. I've been waiting for Hero Ice Wiz for so long. They teased it on Twitter a while back. Yeah, and they also teased it at the end of the TV Royale with Ken and Rune Giant, that whole thing. They teased it at the end there, as well as like E-Giant and E-Wiz. But yeah, Hero Ice Wiz used to be, not Hero, but Ice Wiz itself, when I started playing the game, was like one of my favorite cards. He was in my like mid-ladder Hog deck, because you know, back then there was no Evos, there was no whatever, and so I was always using Ice Wiz and I think Baby Dragon. So yeah, I've always loved Hero Ice Wiz. He's not really usable right now, apart from like, you know, the couple odd off meta decks really. So by the way, does it look like Adriel's going to be busting out the Evo Piggies with the Goblinstein and the Archers. This is the newish Piggies version. We haven't seen it as much as the Furnace one. And then Pedro is pulling out. Oh yeah, he has golden eyes. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I didn't even see the Clash animation thing. That's cool. So yeah, Pedro is running the Hypno deck that we just saw Moogie. whip out, and then Adriel's running Pig's Lightning. Did he just lightning the Goblin Barrel? I mean, you know, I guess he had to, right? That's crazy. Oh, I forgot. On the vertical, I'll move that back to move that back right here for you guys. Yeah, that's wild. He had to lightning that. I mean, look, that's the thing. That's the reality of the Hypno deck here. Sometimes it forces the players to kind of over defend on certain things, because you can just spam and outcycle. Especially with the Hero Valkyrie, it's definitely not any easier. Oh, you said and looked hella geeked. Yeah, that. So it's interesting because sometimes the gold eyes on the players, not the players, the cards, like the heroes or whatever, sometimes they look really cool and then other times they look goofy. And then especially once you get used to seeing them that way and then the season ends and they go ahead and remove the gold eyes, then some of them just look weird. Hero Valkyrie though, because for the thumbnails, you know, I go on to Clash, their website. They have a thing where you can like make stickers of some of the things, and that's how I use the animated things for the thumbnails. And so I've already seen the Valkyrie without the eyes on there, and it's like she's like staring into your soul kind of thing, because her eyes are like black. It's kind of weird, but oh, his tongue. Oh, I think I know what you mean. Was it the one with? It was like the elixir, and he's like with his tongue out, and there's like elixir all over it. Like it looks really creepy, actually. It's kind of like a dark theme. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that one was scary. Low key. All right, so he does save the bar barrel for the goblin barrel this time. He does not have to lightning it again. And the goblin stein. Interesting ability there. But I guess it did take out the princess before she could get another shot. But the Valkyrie was about to take it, right? Or am I imagining things? There might be. So Pedro's winning this one, but again, with the Hypno deck, even if you have a lead, that's not enough because one big push, you can get overwhelmed, you know, especially with the Evo Pigs here. I mean, Adriel's got a massive push, but the Valkyrie's going to help him out. Probably not enough, though. He's got 2 doctors. He's able to kind of distract. They're tied right now. It's pretty close. Especially this deep in the match. Princess doesn't get all that much value because, you know, the opponent's always going to have something down on the board. Now, he's going to have to try to lightning block. And it does. Ooh. Oh, is Valkyrie gonna? Valkyrie took it right at the end there. Man, he was so close. He was so close to stopping that, but Valkyrie got like just with a couple HP was able to chain the tower. If he had played his bomb tower a little bit higher there, it wouldn't have chained, but I don't think he was expecting that. Plus, you got to think too, it's a new mechanic that a lot of these guys just aren't used to seeing.
And now all of a sudden they're that Hero Valkyrie. The range obviously a little bit bigger than the Golden Knight's dash range in terms of like targeting that next unit. That bar barrel just far enough up, and Adriel could not believe it. He had it locked. He goes, no problem. Bomb tower early. I have my archers. Lightning in. Bar barrel ready to go. Perfectly placed on the off-place Goblin barrel. And Pedro just getting a. I mean, it feels like getting away with one.
Yeah.
But that synergy is there for a reason of knowing that the bar barrel is going to come out, and you all of a sudden have a unit in front of the tower. That Hero Valk ability, man, it's just so effective when it connects.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, you mentioned all the amazing things that Pedro does, and I hate to be this guy, but I have to point out the one mistake from Adriel here at the end of this game. I think that there's just a slight sequencing error in his cards played. I think that, there's still, I believe there's still about 7 seconds left in the game where this attack happened, and he plays the lightning early. A lot of the time, what you want to do, especially with lightning being an instantaneous spell, you want to make sure you lock down this final defense first, and then you play the lightning with 1-2 seconds left in the game, especially with how expensive.
Yeah, but see, I think the reason that he went with the lightning early is because he knew that that hero Valkyrie was about to come, and so he was trying to make sure he could defend at the last second while also trying, because the thing is, if you wait till the very last second to lightning, your opponent knows that you're about to do that, so it then opens the door for them to block the lightning. So I think that's why he pre-fired it. He just miscalculated on the defense in terms of the hero Valkyrie there. So she was able to sneak in that extra little damage.
Final seconds of the match.
No, I mean, don't hate to be that guy. That's your job, and I think that's a perfect call. You can use that elixir elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, just sacrifice archers up high then. Like you said, play a Goblin Stein. Do anything you can to change the trajectory of that hero Valk. And I thought the same thing, actually, at least in terms of the lightning coming out early. I was a little surprised that it came down when it did. It's obviously back in hand. You know that it's there. He doesn't have a good way to block it. I thought, like you're saying, Juice, it would come down in the final 2 seconds of the game. But, he decides to just throw it in early, and then all of a sudden he's looking to find a better way to defend this hero Valk. And you saw the elation on Pedro's face. You saw the frustration on Adriel's. Both these guys already locked in to our World Finals. Adriel in that number 6 spot, Pedro in the number 3 with a golden ticket. And this is a great moment. This is a great learning moment. This is a great practice moment for Adriel to just lock back in. We were commending him for how kind of emotionless he is as he plays, for how dialed he is on the biggest stage, or even at a monthly final, or even on ladder. I'm sure this is the kind of practice that you can't really replicate. Is a super frustrating last second loss on the monthly finals stage when you're trying to stay alive, trying to move into that finals against Mugi, and the reset has to.
By the way, guys, I'm gonna call it out as soon as I see it, but I think we'll probably get another question soon if any of you guys are keeping up with the points. But they might wait till next time because typically they've been doing it in between matches. But if they're going to do it, it'll be within the next couple seconds because these guys will probably get into a game soon. But as soon as I see it, I'll call it out. Who do you think will win? Okay, so here, I think, in terms of this match, I think Pedro's going to win. Adriel is really good, but Pedro has always been really good, but he's been like rapidly improving quite a bit recently. So in terms of like amongst these top guys. So I think Pedro is going to probably take this match. And then in terms of who's going to win the whole tournament, I think it's going to be again between probably Mo and Mugi. That's who I would say. And all the matches that we've watched the past 2 days, I think Mo and Mugi have consistently had the best games. Even though Mo is in the lower right now, we've seen him do that multiple times. Go down to the low or the lower and then just win out. It's almost like in a way, it's probably a little bit easier for him because he knows that he's like not necessarily that the matches are so much easier, but you're not facing the top guys every single time. Yeah. Yeah, good choice. This is also my thought about it. Yeah, because Adriel's been in the scene for a bit. And Pedro kind of as well, but I just think Pedro's been doing much better recently that I've seen, and is just clutch plays, like at the end of the game, last game with that hero Valk. It was a phenomenal play where I think most players would have probably tried to block lightning. He knew that wasn't gonna like win it for him and that he needed to go ahead and attack in. I just think split second, I've seen a lot better plays or micros in the heat of the moment from Pedro. Adriel's still a very good opponent though. So, do we think Pedro has Evo Royal Giant here? I feel like that's the last. I mean, if not, it's like a bridge spammy thing, like a mix. But I think this is the Royal Giant because yesterday they started playing Royal Giant Double Spirit, and I think that's what this is. But I think Mo is just different. I think he will win it all. Yeah, I think Mo will win it all again too. So I haven't been like watching him stream for quite a while, so I'm not sure like how much he still streams and stuff, but in these tournaments and when you watch his games, like he's just so locked in, and then on top of that, all of his opponents, like it's very obvious that they still hold him with such high regards in terms of opponent wise, because they just all seem to be visibly shaken when they go to play Mo. Like it seems like it's kind of getting to their yeah. So there's the Royal Giant. It seems like it eats at their mental whenever they go to play Mo all the time. Because you'll start to see them make like nervous mistakes and stuff. He's just like a flash. It's like a bomb. I still can't read him well. Well, and that's, like the last World Finals, we were just talking about when Mo 5-0'd Cal Sub. Cal Sub was like so nervous, whereas Mo's been in that situation so many times that it was just like another day for Mo. And that's when, the memes of him talking about he only beat me earlier because he was hungry. And then it pans to like his mom. His mom's like laughing and all that. So in this matchup, I think Adriel's doing a really good job of trying not to let Pedro stack. But he's still, he's still kind of decently building the pushes here. But the graveyard, especially in triple, the like perma graveyard, ooh, that's gonna get a lot of damage there. Man, he really needed that E-Spirit first. Yeah, that looks like it's gonna do it. Looks like Adriel's gonna take this game. If he had that E-Spirit first there, I think it would have been potentially a different finish there. But Adriel did a really good job of saving that barb hut or the barb hut, the goblin hut till the absolute last second, so that the barb barrel was not able to block it fully, and he was able to use it to block up the Royal Giant. He did a really good job there. Adriel did. I still think that Pedro's gonna beat him out in this last one. When Mo is locked in, it's like no one is around him, and like he's just so into the game. Yeah, yeah. Well, because here's the thing: like Mo, on top of Mo being like having the most accolades, he's clearly the most like well-rounded, and in terms of micro placements and things, he's just so good with that. It just always seems like he makes all the insane plays that in these tournaments and things. Like a lot of these players, they'll sometimes try to pull out certain predictions, like risky moves, and sometimes it pays, sometimes it doesn't. But with Mo, it seems like he always knows the right time to pull out those plays and get it done, and he does do that quite often. So I do think Mo is gonna he's definitely gonna have a good run at winning it again this year. I think it's going to be kind of the same contenders really at the end. It'll be a mix of, Cal Sub or Cal Pedro and Mo and Mugi. Adriel could be in the mix, but I see Adriel as more of like a 4 to 6 rank kind of player. But who knows? I mean, because he's been so close many times, you know. He's been so close, so he could still pull it out. Say Spirit Spawn too fast. From Are you talking about like just in general the Spirit, or are you referencing like from the Furnace? Because the buff to Furnace is crazy, but yeah, the prediction is crazy good. Yeah, he knows the correct timings on like when to pull those out, the predictions, and when to not, as well as like all his micro placements are just like to perfection, really. Um and that's hard to do, especially with all the different decks, because it's not like Mo always plays the same kinds of decks, you know. Like, I mean, he does favor the cycle decks, but Mo will play all of them like at just the exceptional level, which even a couple of these guys, the pros, the top pros, they'll still have like 3 to 4 decks that they kind of main and that they usually play, which then also makes them easier countered because you can start to guess. But with Mo, you don't know what he's going to play because he can just play them all really well.
Be out there. They actually both ran a deck similar to that, so that would be kind of cool to see. A little bit of a I saw Evo Minion Horde actually show up a lot yesterday, Juicy, and then it hasn't really shown.
You said you said Mo is Clash nerd. Yeah, he's kind of nerdy. It's like, you know, when the things happened with Mo before, people were talking, and I'm like, but look, he's a phenomenal player. Like, we can't treat him like a politician expecting his like life to be perfect and this and that. Like, it's just we're just talking about the player. Like, he's really good at player. He said, "All right, bro, catch you later. Love your videos. See you later, bro. By the way, your EXP on those games is crazy good. Keep going." Oh, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you stopping by and commenting. Yeah, I'll catch you later. And thank you for the support. Really appreciate that for sure, bro. Turnip, you said Mo knows when to pull out. Yeah, I don't know. He might still be a how you say noob in that department. He might be a virgin. We're not sure. When I was saying that earlier, I caught it too. I was like, bro, I said, I said pull out. That's funny. Nah, bro, you deserve it. Oh man, I appreciate you for sure. And that's what like keeps me going with the content even when the numbers are really low. Like I have a core support group of like a couple of you guys that always comment, and I really appreciate that for sure, bro. I really do. But I like the streaming stuff too. I've just not been as motivated to like stream and play because the meta is like quite crazy. So, but I love like interacting with you guys and stuff. Oh, hi Wiggles. Is that my prequel? It's one of my little dogs coming up over here. MK in Clash League. Yeah. Yeah, no, this MK deck has been popping up um with the Hog Rider and the Marcher. It was really big last monthly final, and then with the nerf, we haven't seen Evo MK as much, but we are still um, seeing it. We haven't seen that much of the MK bridge spam variant, but we have seen quite a bit of MK Hog today. Earlier, by the way, guys, for any of you guys that just tuned in, one of the guys pulled out an MK drill deck, and it was like a MK bridge spam with drill. It was the weirdest concoction I've ever seen. Supercell said hi. Is this the real Supercell? I think we have an imposter here. But hi, Supercell. Supercell shorts. Said, I haven't commented for a while since I've been on holiday, but I'm back now. Never give up though, bro. You'll get big soon. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I've started I have like my main channel that kind of been like going more into, but I do want to get back into creating more content on the Clash here because I was going like pretty strong with it, and then I just kind of with some of the toxic metas, I kind of refuse to play some of these really like toxic decks. I don't like playing the game that way, but it's got to the point where it's like if you want to make the content and get more competitive with it, you kind of have to. So we'll see how that goes. Supercell said, "Of course, G." Oh yeah, appreciate you, bro. Adriel will easily win this match. Um, yeah, I agree with you. I think Pedro, he has the ability to outplay, but I would say it definitely looking like a hard counter in favor of Adriel. Um, it is pretty hard. He said this meta is straight cancer. To be fair, yeah, I mean, but it's just such like bridge spam, high pressure kind of like units. So especially for Hog Xe, it's like we have to play even more perfect, and then there's sometimes where we just can't go in. So it's just kind of building discipline for sure and that. But if I were to run, just that like busted deck or with the E-Babes or Golem, then I'm sure the meta is a lot of fun if you're playing a deck like that. Mr. Supercell, do you care that I'm streaming the feed directly or what? um, Now I saw the account said Supercell Shorts. So I think here, yeah, it's just because if Adriel saves Mega Knight for the drill, Adriel, whatever. If he saves it for it every single time, there's pretty much nothing that Pedro can do in this matchup. I think he just kind of got like hard countered here. But with that being said, Pedro does already have a golden ticket. So it's not really that big of a deal. And I believe this was the upper bracket, right? I believe this is the upper bracket. So either way, it still be they could still face off it. Yeah, Age-Old Evil Smile. His favorite like when they at the World Finals last year when they asked him like what everybody's favorite emote was, he said his was like the goblin like crying thing, and so he kind of made himself like the villain almost in terms of that. I Turnip, you said the lowest I'll stoop is playing Lava Hound because it's low key fun. I was thinking of playing Lava Hound actually. Um, but yeah, I just haven't. I was thinking of playing it with potentially the Void because you can also actually use Hero Valkyrie for that deck, and it applies like good pressure. Oh, by the way, guys, there's another random loot drop on this little points thing. If you guys are keeping track of that for the emote, but it expires in like 1 minute 40, I think. You guys have to claim that. And remember, this is for at the end. There's like a eBabe emote. I think he's like flexing or something. It's some kind of cool one. Yeah, Lava Hound with the new Void. Yeah. Well, especially if you're playing Hog Xe, it just, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It just obliterates the Executioner. There's nothing you can do because if you try to block it, I think I'm not exactly sure, but I think if I were to put the Valkyrie in to try to block, I think it would still take them both out. I'm not it might not though, but I know previously the way that we blocked Void was like goblins or something. If you put goblins, it'll just wipe them all out. Either way, even if Valkyrie did stop the Void from taking Xe, that would just require, trying to play 9 elixir to stop that is just kind of not really viable, especially against like a pretty good Lava Hound player. Like they would just spam opposite and you would just lose. So yeah, now when I've faced Lava Hound Void, the only way to potentially win is try to guess when they're gonna void and like spam opposite. Or I mean, as soon as you see the void, you could spam hog or something opposite. But even then, it's like really hard because then you have to try to cycle back to another Xe. You have no other air counter, so the void is good for that. Now I haven't really seen Elixir Golem players running void. And I thought more decks were going to start playing void, but they really haven't, which kind of surprised me, I have to say. Definitely surprised me quite a bit. Okay, something on my back end is glitching out because it says we have like 0 viewers on both. But obviously you guys are chatting here, so okay, so it says, who do you think will win, CalSub or SK? Ooh, I think CalSub's going to take it for sure. I would say CalSub. SK is really good, but I think like we were talking about, Cal is just under Mo, skill wise, I would say. So I'm definitely gonna pick CalSub there, but SK still has the chance to win for sure. Just like we're just talking about that I thought Cal Pedro was gonna win, and then Adriel went ahead and beat him. I said, "Bro, do you play cock?" Yeah, I play Clash of Clans. I don't remember what town hall I am, but I've played the game since it came out, and then I just kind of there was a period where I didn't really play it for a couple years, but I got back into it. I want to say like 2 to 3 years ago, but I just play it really casually. I don't really um they did a rework to the rank system, and I have not played that new ranked at all. So yeah, I kind of just get on and do my like war battles, and then I get off. Do you play it? I think, by the way, I think I'm Town Hall 16 maybe. Whatever 2 off the top is, but I'm about to upgrade because I just have to upgrade walls and then I can go up to the next Town Hall. He said, I just realized Ice Wiz is geeked over Princess in the animation. He just like me, for real. Oh yeah, so I didn't watch it, but I've seen I think I've seen the thumbnail where it's like his face and he's with the elixir. See, and that's I really so we have Evo Princess now. I really thought last Valentine's Day, I really thought they were gonna do like Hero or Evo Marcher and Princess because I just thought that would fit, right? Like they wanted to do the arrows thing with like Cupid, and so I just thought obviously that would be Marcher and Princess. But they ended up doing Goblins and Mega Minion, and they tried to make some like backstory on that. And I was so confused because I was like, Princess is like one of the most OG cards that would just fit so well Valentine's Day. Like everybody loves Princess, and then Marcher is kind of like, you know, the male counterpart to that. So I just felt like it would have gone. And then it was weird because then they released it just a couple seasons later, and I'm like, missed such an opportunity there. But their team back then was just dropping the ball. Remember, this is when they thought Heroes and Level 16 and the nerf to progression was a good idea to combine into one conglomerate. Yeah, Mega Minion got rejected by Healer. Uh, that was a really weird backstory that they put together there. You know, I think a Healer is definitely going to get an Evo or a Hero soon. Um, I think they really also could improve upon number one. I think Clash needs more cards. I don't like the fact that this game is so not so old, but is that it's like 10 years old or whatever, and we only have what, like 121 or 22 cards. Like, I think when it started, when it came out, it was like 80 or something. And when they would bring in new cards, they would bring like 4 or 5 cards at a time. And honestly, I don't think there's any reason that this game shouldn't have like 200 cards, something like that. Because it seems like a lot, but just think of if they were releasing a new card even like every other season, the metas would be so much more diverse. It would solve the main problem that Clash has right now when there's like a certain balance change that then makes one strat just busted because a group of cards. Whereas if we had a um, bigger card pool, then there would be all these cards that could be interchanged in certain decks, and the metas would just be so much better, in my opinion. They would just be, mixed. It wouldn't always be the same kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that, I think they should really consider that. Sorry, I was trying to move the vertical thing for you guys if you're in the. Also, I think they've like the Spirit Empress. Her concept is really cool, by the way. Um, like the fact that she's a 3 elixir ground card or a 6 elixir air card. Like, imagine if they did more of those. I feel like that's just really cool because then you can you have more like what you call utility cards that can be used one way. If your opponent is, playing a certain deck, and then they can be used another if you need it that way. I just think that the concept of the cards changing like that is really cool. I don't know why they don't do that more. Anyway, I will yap more about that later probably. So SK here, do we think it's graveyard? Because typically when they run this, yeah, graveyard, there it is. I was gonna say, typically if they're gonna have piggies in this, they wouldn't have Snowball, and then they would run Evo Pigs. So with the Snowball and the fact that he didn't have an extra Evo slot available, I figured it would probably be graveyard. It could have also been like a weird drill variant, but I don't think we'd really see that. Yeah, graveyard. So Cal Sub, uh, I feel like he has a pretty good matchup here because he has Evo Tesla, E Spirit, and Delivery, and those as well. Of course, Earthquake, right? Because you could just play Earthquake on Graveyard, and it'll mainly counter that, especially paired with like an E Spirit. So I think this is really Cal's matchup to lose here. Meaning, I don't see any way that he loses this unless he gets Poison Cycle, because that is the only good thing for SK. Is if Cal is Earthquaking constantly on the graveyard, then he can't get any Earthquakes on tower. However, if SK then starts going Graveyard Poison, then that opens up the door for Sub to press in more with Hog Riders. However, the Snowball is a phenomenal counter to Hog Rider. I think Snowball paired with like Skellies, or Snowball paired with like a Berserker, Spirit. There's a whole lot of ways that they can counter the Hog with the Snowball. But yeah, having this Evo Tesla on the graveyard is pretty insane. Oh, Berserker almost got a little chip. See, the other thing with Berserker, by the way, her ability, she does 75% reduced damage to the Crown Tower. So even if she gets the tower, she's really not doing, like, I think maximum, like if they hit ability on tower, I think realistically she would only get like 500-ish damage, and that's if she had her full ability on tower. But so as you see there, Cal goes ahead and takes it because SK kind of throws up the white flag early there, which can't really blame him. I mean, that was like he was just getting destroyed in terms of matchup. Um, that was a great choice by, I would say, SK's coach or whoever picked that. Or not SK. So I was rooting for Dominic. Yeah, I've just seen more of Cal sub. Um, I've heard a little bit of SK, but I've just heard more of Cal. So I wasn't sure. Um, what does Dominic? What does he usually play? Do you know? Is he like a beatdown player, or is he also a cycle player? I think sub though. I think he's a all around phenomenal. Um, just under Mo, I would say. I feel like he's at the tier just barely under, but he's a very good secondary or third player between him and um, Mugi. Dominic is Lava Hound Goat, best Lava Hound player. Okay, so that's because you like Lava Hounds. That makes sense. That's kind of like for me, Viper, which unfortunately I think Viper is going to have to do last chance qualifiers like we were talking about earlier because um, Girko, I think Girko. I think Girko just knocked Viper out in the points wise. Viper and Morton were tied with 905 um, points, and Girko from this event just nudged to 910. So it put Morton in the 12th spot and then Viper in the 13th because even though they had the same amount of points, I guess Viper lost the tiebreaker somehow. I don't know if like Morton beat Viper in an event and that's what they did it based off of, but he said, "Bro, have you watched the Hangover movie series?" Yes, definitely one. I think I've watched all three, but I can for sure remember like the first and probably the second. I don't know. Obviously, I know like Jonah Hill, but I don't really know the other two or the other like actors' names. But I know I have like all the faces in my head, so I know who you're talking about. Yeah. You said pretty sure Dominic's finished number one with Lava, Lava Loon, Lava Miner, Lava Lightning, and Lava Clone. Oh, okay. So yeah, he's definitely the Lava Goat then. He's playing the all the different variations there. Lava Clone's an interesting one that I feel like we haven't seen much clone in a while. The only time I see it, oh, I guess he had the lava on the banner, so I should have saw that earlier. By the way, do you guys like this without the streams like clashes volume in the back? Because I was thinking I could play it, but I'd have to lower it because then obviously if I'm talking the same time Juicy or the other guy are talking, it would just sound really weird. Um, yeah, so anyway, the only times I've really seen clone is like the giant skelly clone, and those are like sometimes the players will pull them out. You don't see them as much in top ladder, but you'll see it like very randomly. Um, but you have to be careful because whenever you see it, it's like always crazy. And the best of players with clone will hide it until like a moment. You said it's better with no game sound. All right, bet. And the American Pie series. I think I only saw one American Pie thing, uh, movie. But I have honestly, even like movies, I don't really watch like TV or movies that often. The last movie I saw was Fast and Furious 10, whenever that came out. So it's been like years, for sure, years. Um, okay, yeah. Lava Clone is really niche but kind of viable. Yeah, I mean, especially in a match like this, like let's say SK were to just try to completely bamboozle sub and he had clone, it's one of those where if he saved it for the perfect moment, it could completely win him the game. But it could also, I think it's also matchup or meta dependent, really, because if the opponent has a lot of splash, then it just makes it harder, especially even something just like arrows. But SK, he's pulling out the Lava Hound right here. So even though I would say this is kind of a tough matchup for him, since this is his bread and butter, he's always going to have that comeback potential. It's kind of like in the past competitions when Viper been competing. He doesn't pull out Hog XE much, but when he pulls it out, you can see his opponents are visibly like, oh shit, because it's, their bread and butter. So hopefully, hopefully Dominic can pull this one out, but it does look like Sub just has such good matchup here, such good answers, because SK has Fireball instead of like Lightning. Or this would have been a great time to pull out Void, right? I would imagine Void would have been pretty well, even though it's 5 elixir. However, it would have nerfed his ability to defend the piggies. So actually, I think Fireball probably works out for SK better in this one because piggies are everywhere. Which, by the way, it's funny that everybody always says like, "Oh, he's got it. He cheesed him." That's what he's talking about. Like the balloon, the Lava Hound. I was telling y'all, he could always pull it off right at the end. This is his bread and butter. Did he just do a show? Hold on. Hold on. Did he just do? I think he did a. I think he gave him a little shouldy. Let's see. Does he do it? Okay, I don't. He might have just been. He might have just been messing with the camera. I wasn't. It kind of looked like he sat down and then went to give him a little. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with balloon too. Like if you get if the opponent plays it really well, they can kind of cheese you with the balloon, and it just, since it does that 1k damage right away, it's like could really get you. And it's never with balloon, it's like never over till it's over. He played that really well, I'd have to say. So yeah, at least he forces a game 3. We'll have to see here. But by the way, what I was saying earlier, I guess I'm a bit biased because I'm a Hog XE player, but I do understand the annoyance of 2.6. However, I think it's funny that everybody always talks about nerfing Hog Rider, but people don't really talk about nerfing piggies. I've heard them say like nerf Evo pigs, but the piggies themselves people don't really talk about nerfing. Yet here in CRO, we've seen it in every single set. Yesterday, we saw that diabolical mortar goblin sign deck in every single set, and here today we've still seen it. We've seen mortar quite a bit. But the Goblinstein variation a little bit less today, I would say. Now, Mortar, I think we're seeing Mortar more because it just got that rework. Piggies do way too much damage, in my opinion. Yeah, so the thing with Piggies is they always seem to get damage on tower no matter what. Now, for me, with Valkyrie and Log, I can full counter them if they play them together. But if they split them, it's like I have to overspend and then I'm still taking damage. So that's why the piggies cycle for a Hog XE player is a really tough matchup because they can just like split pigs, force you to over defend, and then if you try to counter push, they go Archer Queen in the center and they kind of kill everything, and then whenever anything gets close, they yeah, Evo piggies have been nerfed like 4 times. It's insane. What's crazy is when they first came out, the Evo Piggies landing damage was like 2,000, and it's gone all the way down to like a quarter of what it is. But I just meant like the base Piggies card versus the base Hog card. People say that Evo Piggies need a nerf though. I don't think they do, because if you nerf the Evo Piggies again, then it's kind of like why even run them? because their only thing is that they fly and then do landing damage. So if you nerf that landing damage again, then I feel like Evo Piggies kind of, they're almost like not worth running. Because like the flying is cool, but typically on the flying, the best you get is like one of the piggies dodges a building and goes to tower, and the other three will still go. But yeah, they just always seem to get the chip. But I don't think they should nerf the Evo. I do think potentially the base. I'm not sure. We'll see. Now with the mortar, the reason we're seeing mortar everywhere is because they just did that rework. So what's interesting is think of like Valkyrie, think of Royal Giant, cards like that. They've all had buff stats on top of their normal card, right? So Valkyrie had like 10% more health. I forget the others because I wasn't playing when they changed them, but when they released the OG Evos, all of their stats were better. They had like more HP. They had more. Some of them had more damage. Just uh, things like that, buff stats. And so recently they've been nerfing them all back to the same stats. And I think Barbs were the last one. Because at first they gave him more health and they took it away, blah, blah, blah. So then the problem was Mortar. Evo Mortar still had a faster hit speed than normal Mortar. So it was kind of like just a matter of when they were going to change that back to the same. Now, I didn't expect them to increase the hit speed of the Evo Mortar, making it shoot slower. I didn't expect them to, rather than making it the same as the mortar, buffing normal mortar, nerfing Evo to be the same. I didn't expect them to do that. So what's happened as a result is mortar itself, the base form, is so strong that we're seeing that so much more. And then the people are just running the Evo as well because it's kind of like a why not, you know? It's one of those where if you get it to land, it just puts a goblin on your tower and it's like, you know, quite a bit of damage. So that's why we've seen Evo Mortar in every single set today. By the way, guys, they haven't had a question on the points thing in quite a bit. And so I think they're going to do it next match because we're getting into a match now and they haven't done it, but I will call it out as soon as I see it over here on the iPad for you guys to, because I think but when it pops up, it's only there for like a minute, then it goes away. He said, mostly not all pigs landed on the tower. Yeah. Well, the thing is, they pretty much never get there unless you just like don't have an answer in hand. But I think the biggest thing with them flying is that their path finding is a little bit different. So sometimes one of them will sneak to the tower, but I still don't think it's a big enough thing to go ahead and like nerf it overall. I just think if they nerf the Evo pigs again, I think they're just going to kill them. Okay, so here we are seeing from SK another diabolical Mega Nuts Rog Hider bridge spam with Fish Boy for some reason. So Mega Nuts does get his splooge on tower, which is pretty wild. So it's giving Dominic the early lead here. I'm so sick of that Mortar bait deck and with the Goblinstein buff too. Yeah, so you know, last season and the season prior, the mortar bait with the rascals and the skelly barrel and the goblins and all that was everywhere, and it was so annoying. And it would have the cannon cart or the bowler, and it was such a tough like matchup because cannon cart, if you let it get to your tower like full health, it's gonna take it. And then of course the hero bowler is annoying because it's like a second mortar basically. So then when they buffed the Goblinstein and then they brought the E-Babes, we've seen that variant everywhere. So yeah, that variant is crazy, but the Evo or the Hero Valk helps out quite a lot on that one because it is bigger, slower units that she's able to like kind of chain through really quickly because a lot of those players are just like stacking everything, so you can get good value like that or even good rocket value. Now, I was not expecting SK to also be running the Evo E-Babes in this matchup, but he has pulled out the fully diabolical version. So this is looking more like the bridge spam MK that we've seen in the last monthly finals and the seasons prior. Except instead of Battle Ram, he's got Hog Rider, and then E-Babes instead of Hero Goblins. So very expensive, but extremely high pressure. Yeah, MK again. Man, I hate that card. I hate it so much, but I think I hate Bowler more. Especially because you guys know in Hog XE, I've been running Diddy Cage instead of Ice Spirit, just to help with defense. And I do like that I can play my Diddy Cage and Mega Nuts will jump on it, pop out Diddler, and then he'll take out MK by himself because he does so much damage. Which I think Diddler Cage is very underrated. Of course, they nerfed the Evo to 2 cycles instead of 1, but even the base Diddy, he's pretty strong, right? Because when he pops, he spawns a high DPS tank killer, right? Like he's very much like a faster hitting mini P.E.K.K.A. that does half damage. So he's basically mini P.E.K.K.A. that just hits faster. And he's a building, so he kites win cons. I really like that. But the only downside is, of course, it makes Hog XE more expensive, so you have to play Hog XE even more passive than normal. But in a bridge spam diabolical meta like this, it's pretty good. Now, SK takes the win because he used the Mega Nuts to have Roghider dodge cannon. So honestly, SK took out Cal Sub here. I think just by some phenomenal deck picks. Of course, the Loon was just because that's his main thing, but in terms of this matchup here at the end, it was a phenomenal call by the coach to go with this bridge spam thing, and he just got lucky that Cal Sub went for the Archer Queen Minor Poison, I think it was. Yeah, W, your boy Dominic, he pulled that off pretty well, I would say. But it was such a monstrosity deck, though. It's so crazy. But he played that really well. And that's so people used to do that with Giant Skelly, right? Because the Mega Nuts deck that has like Magic Archer, Hog Rider, that one. People used to run it with Giant Skelly because they could use the Giant Skelly to push Hog away from buildings and to the tower. And so that's what he did there with Mega Knight. Whether he meant to do it or not, but the fact that it like body blocked it, it was, but either way, he was going to win because he just had so much pressure. Oh, real quick, we have another one popped up with 45 seconds left. It says, who was the 2026 China Championship Cup runner-up and qualified for the World Finals? The answers are Ink, Midnight, Butterfly, Haji. I'm going to pick Butterfly, but I think I'm wrong. Okay, it's Midnight. The answer is Midnight. So if you guys are doing the points for who was the 2026 China Championship runner-up, make sure to pick Midnight. That will get you the most points there for the correct choice. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then I'll be right back. Let me mute my mic so that it doesn't...
defense is, even if you have perfect defense, if this fisherman continues to pull the miner away from tower every single time you go for it, you are just not going to get enough damage on the board to outpace this Mega Knight Spear Empress combo.
That is such a great point that you make. And you look at Dominic's run in that lower bracket, only 2 losses on his tally. 2-0 over Saudi, 2-0 over Asaf, 2-1 over EGW, and now 2-1 over Sub, as we see him down in that lower bracket, working his way through to the 5th round. Now Pedro and Mo Light, a repeat from just a couple of years ago in our championship, as we take another updated look here at the leaderboard, Juice.
So at this point, the leaderboard points are pretty set in stone. Viper can no longer... Actually, wait. No, Viper actually still can qualify for Worlds. So at this point, if Mugi or if Sub or Adriel wins the golden ticket, Viper is going to get bumped back up. So Viper has a couple people to root for. Doom, you can see at number 22, he is guaranteed last chance qualifier, but he wants this golden ticket. He wants to make it to Worlds right now. Morton is now successfully locked in at that number 12 spot since EGW lost previously. And then other than that, we just have a bunch of money and some seeding points on the line here for the players that are still cooking up in this tourney.
Juicy, even if they're already qualified and they get a golden ticket, would that still keep Viper, though, out of the top 12 since they're already up in that top 12? Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but I believe that is not the case because there are certain number of... There's always a certain number of people that can qualify via points.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, right, because then that point qualifying would move it down to Viper because it would be a golden ticket instead.
Exactly.
Thank you for clarifying. Yep. Only way that Viper does not make it to World Finals right now is if Doom gets a ticket, which is a crazy way to think about it. So now Viper rooting against Doom, which is, you know, honestly, when you look at who's in there, it is the person that probably has the lowest success rate, but not with the way he's playing today. Never give up until that timer hits 0, ladies and gentlemen watching at home. Anything can happen in the final seconds. Anything can happen in a best of 3. And here we go. Another great best of 3 coming your way between Pedro and Mo Light.
So focused on Doom and in this storyline that he's making for himself. I didn't even realize that we get to see such a powerhouse matchup next in this lower bracket. This is an elimination match between Pedro and Muhammad Light. This is a rematch of the 2023 World Finals Championship. Let's see what both these players are going to bring. It looks like it might be a Royal Hogs mirror matchup here, Andrew.
Yeah, just 2 different looks here. These are... Oh, no, excuse me. I didn't see the archers there from Mo. Yeah, I mean, this is the Royal Hogs deck at the moment. And Goblinstein has just become... It was one of those cards when we heard about the nerf that we were like, is Goblinstein going to be powerful or not? But now the synergy of a win condition plus the Goblinstein to kind of pull out the response and then just go Goblinstein at the bridge has just been working so well. And then that ability from the Goblin Doctor has been so powerful in the current meta.
So true. So in this mirror matchup, you guys might be wondering, like, okay, so how do you know who's going to win this mirror? Like, how does it work? And it really just comes down to who's going to cycle their evos quicker, who's going to make those breakthroughs with their lightnings effectively to get those piggies to pass that tower. And at this point, Mo's played his evo piggies twice now, so he's going to have the evo version in cycle here as we head into double elixir. I think Pedro's in a really tough spot, especially since he's already used the bomb tower, but a nice prediction. Electro Spirit from Pedro is going to do his best to mitigate the damage as best as possible.
That E-Spirit did some overtime there, getting that connection, the jump between the 2 split piggies. And yeah, I mean, you guys have just kind of seen it in sequence here from Mo. It's Royal Hogs come out, Bomb Tower comes out, Bomb Tower's out, Goblinstein at the bridge. Goblinstein has pulled the Bomb Tower out again. Piggies once again, you know, and then that was how Pedro was kind of keeping up with that cycle, was a great E-Spirit plus archers. So here we go, 2608 untouched towers for Mo Light.
Yeah, I think another thing in mirror matchups is it's just about aggression as well. And you can see Mo doing just that right now. Gobstein ability, predicting the next bomb tower, and it's just forcing Pedro in a situation. Evo archers start to walk away. One does come back. That should be solid, but look at this damage. He's chipping away. Mo is chipping away. He's forcing out bomb towers with the Gobstein, like you said, and he's just going to keep the pressure. Meanwhile, look at Pedro. He's not played Piggies a single time.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mo Light, I mean, this is such a great call by you, Juicy, when you talk about the aggression and how aggressive you need to be in this mirror matchup. But Pedro may be waiting till the right time. Those Piggies on the right-hand side should give him the lead. And that is just such a great like display of patience from Pedro.
Evo Piggies now for Mo. Pedro has the bomb tower and archers combo.
All right, guys, I am back. I appreciate you staying with me. W Turnip. W, bro. You know, it's funny. I see the thing over here on the side. It says who do you think will win? It's like Pedro and Mo. And 93% of people picked Mo, which I agree. I think Mo's going to win this. Dog also wants to watch match. Oh, big boy. Yeah, both my dogs, they're like right here. They were playing. I'm glad that I muted the mics because they were like whining for me because I went upstairs and grabbed me it's just a little seltzer water, but and then so there's like Big Boy that you guys have seen, and then there's my little one right here. I'm gonna try to put them on like the outros of the video. In terms, like sometimes if you guys have caught it on a couple of the end of my videos, I did like a touch grass reminder. And it was a picture of Steel on a rock with, he had a pair of my sunglasses on and the 360, Insta 360 camera on it. Yeah, I appreciate you, Turnip, and I appreciate you, Sahib, for staying with me while I went through the break. Yo, Unk, how you doing? Young Money, how's it going, bro? Young Money Sai, is that how you say it? W, bro. Yeah, it's going pretty good. Okay, by the way, Pedro with the big upset just won. That's pretty diabolical. But I wasn't really paying attention, so Pedro probably had pretty good matchup there. But yeah, it's been going pretty well. Unfortunately, Viper is knocked out. Viper is 13 in terms of qualifying for Worlds, so he'll have to get last chance qualifier. So for me and a lot of us that play Hog XE, we wanted Viper to advance, and he unfortunately did not. So we'll have to qualify because this guy called Gearco beat him out by like 5 points or something. Let's make sure we are up to live. There we go. No, it was a mirror match. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was kind of like messing with the dogs. I wasn't fully paying attention. Actually, since they're in intermission, there it is. Oh, the Piggies mirror. Yeah, that's interesting because I know Mo plays Piggies a lot, but he, I don't know. I would have expected him to win that. Let's see here, though. It looks like Pedro just got the early lead, and it looks like Mo just wasn't really able to recover. 30 seconds left. Pretty good lightning there. Mo does get the ability as well. But, you know, sure, Mo got some damage, right? But then they were just tied, and it was just Pedro's turn, and he was able to... Now, if Mo could have blocked the lightning, that's when he would have had, you know, a really good chance of taking it there. Pedro actually gets back to another lightning. Kind of wild. See, but this is the thing, though. Like, if Mo loses one, he just turns it up quite well. We are in the next match here, and they're just kind of leaking. Typically, that's going to mean that they're playing the, like, heavier decks. Okay, we see a Furnace and a Wizard. Oh, so I think Mo is playing... I think he's playing Hog. Because I've seen people play Hog Rider with Evo Wizard quite a lot actually. And it looks like Pedro is going to be playing Graveyard, which means Mo's probably going to win this if he's playing Graveyard, because he's got Evo Tesla as well as Log, so that'll help him out. Yep, so there's the Hog Rider. Now the question is he playing Hero Valkyrie, or is he going to be playing like Mighty Miner? Because if he's playing, okay, he's playing Monk. That's typically they play Monk with this. I forgot. Typically they play Monk instead of Mighty. I don't know really why though, like what the appeal on Monk is. I guess just because it helps with Hog Rider, but because you wouldn't really be saving Mighty for any other matchup necessarily. I love Furnace Graveyard so much. When I saw the Spirit nerf, I thought Furnace would die, but then the deck got buffed. Furnace, Hero Zerker, Hero Valk. Yeah, well, see, here's the other thing that I think a lot of people missed with the Furnace when it got its like nerf or rework. So the Furnace, if any of you guys have like played like way back, Furnace was a spawner, and then they made it a like a building, and then they made it like a troop, right? So Furnace's whole intent was always to be like a supporting unit spawning the Fire Spirits, because back in the day, actually, Fire Spirit, the card itself, was 3. It was 3 Fire Spirits. Imagine how busted that would be in today's game if every time you went to play Fire Spirits, it was 3, or Ice Spirits, it was 3. Like, that would be crazy. Anyway, so its whole thing was always to be like a supporting unit, and that was the intent when they made it a troop. They wanted it to be with like beatdown and like behind things, but because the way Fire Spirit worked, people were using it as opposite lane pressure because you had to respond to the spirit. So when they made this rework and they made it spawn more and more spirits, it buffs it in the way they intended it to be played behind other units. Furthermore, it's also, in terms of like E-Spirit, it's a buff because now it's harder to activate King. And you also can't, used to, there was a way with Tornado, you could actually activate off the Furnace with the Fire Spirit. It was extremely hard, so you only really saw like the top tier players doing it. Like, I think I only pulled it off once, and I failed it. I couldn't even count how many times I failed it. That's why I stopped trying it, because if you fail it, then you spend a whole lot of elixir and you still take hits and stuff. So anyway, with the Furnace, it's spawning more spirits, especially later in the game once you start stacking things. It's such a phenomenal card. But yeah, I don't see any way that Mo really loses this one. You know, the only potential is, since he doesn't have E-Spirit and he has Ice Spirit, but like we were just talking about, he's got Evo Tesla, he has the Log, he has the Earthquake even. He can literally just save Earthquake for the Graveyard, but then of course he can't use it on offense, so it's a trade-off there. Big boy. Big boy's right next to me, like chewing on a bone. If you guys can hear that and it's annoying, let me know, and I'll just like toss his bone in the other room so that because he's like leaning it up against the deck, because he puts so much like force through the bone, because he's a Cane Corso, that he likes to put it up against things and like crank at it, so sometimes it's pretty loud. Honestly, I don't like, Mo almost lost that game though. Pedro played that really well. I would say.
Tank for the Graveyard. No guards come down for the poison that Pedro drops. He late drops the Wizard, and that's you know what you have to do when you're playing against the best in the world. Is the first option is usually not the best option as you move deeper into the game.
So it's 1-1 best of 3, right? We're heading
Yep.
to game 3. So Mo versus Pedro. Hopefully we have a locked cards page for you guys so we can start to theorize.
This is the lower bracket, by the way. So whichever one of them wins this, the other one is going to be out. But it doesn't really matter for either one of these two because they both have a golden ticket for the finals. So they're just playing this for tournament money at this point.
As on the screen.
Yeah, I mean you see Barbarrel out on both sides, Lightning out on both sides, Piggy's out on both sides because of that mirror matchup that we saw early on. Obviously Mortar's still available. Mo just using Hog there and playing a very, very clean game. When I look at what Mo has played this weekend so far and what he's been the most successful with, Mo Light has leaned on Piggies the most, as we already saw in game number 1. Pedro very happy to take that. But this is the other thing, is when you look at Mo's decks compared to everyone else's decks, he has so many different versions of the Hogs deck, and then he's also just played so many different win conditions. He's gone Mortar, he's gone with a Skeleton King bait deck with Evo Barrel and Skarmy. He's got that Princess Rocket deck that's really interesting.
Right.
And, you know, he's been playing that really well. And then, yeah, I mean...
He said, "Giant Rocket is open." Yeah, you remember that when when we did the 1v1s and I had Giant Rocket. OG call out there. Yeah, Giant Rocket would be crazy. There was earlier somebody played like a really weird Rocket cycle deck. It wasn't Minor Rocket, but it was quite similar. So I could see Mo trying to pull that one out. That would be pretty weird if he did, though. But it would definitely be a surprise pick for sure. Since Mo is a cycle player, typically, I think he may revert back to that since he's in a kind of like do or die situation here. And since, you know, Minor is still available, I think we could see Minor. The only thing is quite a lot. Yeah, Princess, I think. Since quite a lot of these cycle cards, though, are not available right now, since they are, you know, typically used in the Piggies or... Well, I guess just the Piggies, because he played Piggies and Hog, so he didn't really use too many cycle cards that you would use for that. But he does have the Goblin Hut here and Snowball, so Drill, potentially? I mean, obviously he could be just running Graveyard himself, so I think that with the Furnace, he's probably running Graveyard. I don't know, though. I think Drill, because Graveyard doesn't run Snowball, right? Unless you're talking like Giant. But he's got the Dark Prince. Yeah, Graveyard, I think. Yeah, okay. So so it is Drill. Because that's... I was thinking Graveyard, but when I saw the Snowball, that's what kind of threw me off. Snowball usually indicates like Drill. But I do agree, it's kind of like a mixed deck. And we do see that sometimes with the with this format where they can't repeat cards. We do see sometimes they'll have to like mix and match two separate decks. I think his last card is going to be Poison, as Bro throws the cat. Imagine getting like destroyed in CRL and he's like messing around with his cat. It's kind of... Okay, so Pedro is pulling out pretty much the same deck that Mo just used. However, he has Fire Spirit because he already used Ice Spirit. You know, one thing that I have never really seen anybody try is hog heal spirit. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that, you know, because we have, I mean, it's pretty much E spirit or ice spirit, but bro's getting kind of mad. Um, by the way, interesting choice by Mo to go with Hero Dark Prince rather than Hero Berserker, don't you think? They've been playing Snowball and Graveyard a lot earlier. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, and I know like Giant Graveyard uses Snowball too, which I mean it does make sense because it slows down the tower as well from killing the skellies, so it gives them extra time. Could you imagine though, like Hog Heal Spirit? Because certain interactions where Hog makes it to a tower and he's almost dead, or a building and he's almost dead, the heal spirit would then jump and heal him and then make him get the tower in certain instances when he wouldn't, which would then almost always force like a uh, log or something. So heal spirit's an interesting concept. It just defensively, obviously, it's no good. So that's that's probably why we don't really see it. Although, I mean, you could get crafty with it, right? Like, let's say for Xe, if we had Xe defending something, something is coming towards Xe, we had the heal spirit jump, but it would have to be close enough that it would still be in range of the Xe to heal Xe while he's killing whatever. So I don't, it's very niche, I would see. Reminds me of Hog heal spam in Clash of Clans, which we all used to use. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, so recently in Clash of Clans, I just use the Super Yeti and then the mass like revive spells on the Royal Champion. But I used to always run Hog, even when it was not really like viable. Um, not that long ago, I would still always like heavily plan out my attacks and do Hog heals, and I usually paired that with like a kill squad with like Valkyries or something. So I always like to plan out these attacks, but now that I don't really play it much and I kind of just get on to do my war attacks, I kind of just spam Super Yetis. Which, by the way, I'm surprised Yeti hasn't made it into Clash Royale. We have Ice Golem, and Golem, but we don't have Yeti. I feel like that's a cool card. It would kind of be busted, by the way, because if it's spawning E-spirits, that would be like really hard to deal with, but I would see it being like a 6 or 7 elixir card um, on the Yeti, so it could pretty well. By the way, man, that's crazy. It was only like 7% of people that picked Pedro to win, and he pulled off the big upset. Now, like I said, both of these players already have their golden tickets, so they're really just playing for tournament money here. But yeah, Pedro pulled off a pretty big upset there at the end. Now, he definitely, you could definitely say he had matchup there because he has the earthquake and log on graveyard, and it pretty much kind of stops that. Or drill, I mean. So I guess, I mean, the earthquake, of course, makes it hard for Mo to try to like defend. But I don't know that I've never played that monk wizard. Little girl, over there. Cookie, cookie. Good girl. Yeah, she was chewing on a bone like right at my feet, so I figured you guys, I didn't want it to destroy your ears. um, I use super minions and loons or just spam super minions. Yeah, I've seen some people try that. The super minion, it's a lot harder. Like you have to tactically do it, or else the minions just kind of get murked and kind of take each other's opponents. Anyway, buildings. I meant. Anyway, we have 30 seconds left on the question is which hero is unlocked through the Unleash the Beast event? I'm going to say Berserker. Yeah. Okay. So it was Berserker. I figured because I think I just wasn't sure on the name. I didn't remember the names, but Berserker was the most recent and she is like a bear beast. So if you guys are keeping up with the points, make sure on the which hero is unlocked through the Unleash the Beast event, make sure to pick the Berserker there. But so yeah, what I was saying about the super minions, it kind of reminds me of when you think of like the Royal Champions, her like rocket spear ability. If you play it, like you have to play it separately from other things, or else they steal each other's targets and then they kind of cancel out. Okay, it says who do you think will win? It's SK Dominic and Cal Pedro. Ooh. Do we think SK is going to get the 1-2 on both the Cowboys, or do we think Mr. Pedro can redeem his fallen brother sub? Man, I think Pedro is on a heater. I think I have to pick Pedro. I'm sorry. I know you love Dominic because he's a lava player, but man, I think Pedro is going to get this one. I mean, he just knocked out Mo. You know, he's riding super momentum right now. He just knocked out Mo, so I feel like he's definitely going to take it here. I don't really care much what Andrew has to say, but let's see what Juicy's got to say.
Being kind of like a shock value deck, but then something happened on stage,
Right.
and if you guys know the lore of all of it, all that to be said, I'm sure Dominic would love to get back up there and give it a good go because he is and always has been a great player. It almost seems like, I mean, just watching him this month, it seems.
By the way, they were talking about, I guess, lore on something that happened to Dominic on stage. I don't remember what happened, but if you guys know, let me know. I do know. I remember for Clash of Clans, funny enough, I think one of the tournaments, like a couple years back, that Snapdragon was hosting, it happened a couple times where the iPads like froze or some kind of technical thing while mid-match, and they didn't, like, he was sitting there and it wasn't letting him tap anything. I guess it could have been Clash Royale, but I think it was Clash of Clans. But so the guy, he lost because he wasn't able to do anything, and he like showed the iPad. The guy came over, like one of the event workers, and they can like obviously confirm something was wrong with it, but they didn't have them rematch it. It was just kind of like a too bad so sad kind of thing, which is crazy in my opinion, because it was a obvious like technical issue. So I'm wondering, did something like that happen to Dominic, or? So it looks like Pedro's playing Hog, but he has the delivery. I think he has delivery so that he can save a potential other spell. There he is. He is Hog. I was gonna say it's most likely Hog, but it could have been Piggies, but the Hog would have been the easier or the more obvious of the two choices there. And then Dominic is going to opt to run the Piggies Goblinstein. It's not the fully busted one, but it's Goblinstein's pretty strong. I would be a little surprised if they don't nerf it, but here's the interesting thing. Used to, when they would buff something and it then became busted, they would kind of regroup and they might tweak it a little bit. But lately, even when they've been saying like, we're going to buff this, and if it becomes broken, then we'll see how we can adjust it. Like lately, when they've been saying that, they're not following through. Like they'll make a card busted and then they just leave it busted. They're just like, ah. Or they'll nerf a card and they'll kill it and they just leave it dead. So it's like, I I don't know. Plus, they might see, because obviously they have to nerf E-barbs, the E-babes. We know that they're going to nerf that. So maybe they're just thinking, if we nerf that, and maybe they'll slightly tweak the mortar, make the hit speed like a little bit higher. Maybe they're going to try to see if Goblinstein falls out of its such like oppressive state in the meta right now. But I'm not sure. I wish they would be quicker to re-nerf or rebuff things when they kill them or make them busted, but I think that just hasn't seemed to be their priority. They've just been kind of trying to like save face public image wise, and so they're also thinking more so about heroes and evos, not necessarily so much evos but more heroes, because remember their timeline, they thought by now, because obviously they didn't expect to get the heavy backlash from level 16, which is crazy because everybody knew that was going to happen, but they thought they'd get away with it. They thought by now they were already going to have much more heroes in the game, so that's why we've started to see them release multiple per season because they're behind. So I think that's kind of been their priority, and they did just do the big balance changes. While a lot of them were good, there were still some that were left, and so that's why I think we might not see the immediate change in balance changes that a lot of us feel should happen. But I think for sure the E-babes are kind of like the biggest one to get a nerf, and maybe with Berserker they could just lessen the time of her ability slightly. Because her ability is still 3 elixir, so if they nerf it too heavily, it'll just kill the card completely. So we'll have to see with that. And then I think it's hard to know how or if they should nerf Hero Valkyrie, because like I said, she's just been so overshadowed by the other cards. Now, right there, that was a phenomenal play by Dominic. Let's go ahead and like replay that. So look at this sequence here. So we have the hog coming down like right here, but he knows that Pedro is wanting to get that earthquake down. So he's gonna try to play this bomb tower as late as he can because it has so much health and in the best position he can. But what he does is he blocks, he goes E-Spirit to stun, and he kind of like blocks with those skellies for like just enough time for him to get this bomb tower down. And then it's just not enough because Hog had to get to tower. Honestly though, Hog would have had to get like four-ish hits. I'm not really sure. But yeah, that was, dude, I wasn't aware that Dominic had that clean of micros. Because and that's quite rare because like you said he mains Lava Hound, which is like a beatdown style. But Dominic has been surprising me. Like I said, I didn't know too much about him, but man, I mean he's played really good games today. Had some really good micros for sure. Yeah, W Dominic. That was a phenomenal game from Dominic there. So he takes game 1. So Pedro will have to win the next 2. Let's see what Juicy's yapping
And
about
then when
here.
you bait out those buildings, you drop lightnings. And yeah, once he got to triple elixir, especially, it just seemed like he applied so much pressure. And then the micro with the electro spirits as well. I feel like this is the first time that we really saw that. We saw a couple plays earlier where just some mistakes from some players protecting from the barb barrel, but you can't protect the.
Yeah, see, like even look at that. Cal's ranked 4. SK Dominic, he's ranked 38. And like Juicy just mentioned, the micros with the E-Spirit that he was playing, that we just looked back at was phenomenal from Dominic. I mean, he's playing so well here at the end. I mean, he's got a really good chance if he keeps it up.
Playing for cash, as he's already got the golden ticket, as he's already locked into World Finals. But if I'm Dominic, I just go like what we saw in that last set. Okay, I'm down a game. In this case, he's actually up a game. Just lean on what's been working really, really well. Worst case is you go to game number 3, and then you can plan from there. Then you can try to be a little bit more unpredictable. But the fact that one of his comforts is lava and the other is mortar, I feel like the counters to those decks don't overlap a ton, Juice.
I know. We were talking about that yesterday, where some of the skills.
That's a good point there. I didn't think about that because Dominic's good with mortar and lava. So Pedro does kind of have an advantage right now. If he picks something, he can pick something that effectively counters both of them quite well. However, if Dominic just like wants to slam his cock on the table, balls out and everything, and he wants to just rock up with Lava Hound, you know, I that might be pretty good because he can lose a game and he's still fine, right? Because he's up 1-0. Now you don't want to give Pedro the momentum, but we'll see here what he's going to be playing.
He does still have that LCQ to rely on, so he doesn't maybe feel the exact same pressure that EGW felt earlier,
Right.
where EGW was in that same boat. But I think in EGW's mind, he's like, I've been to monthly finals, I've gotten all these points, I really just want to get that golden ticket.
All right, so we see Dominic's got the giant skelly, so that's either gonna okay, he pulls out graveyard. I was gonna say that's either gonna mean balloon or that diabolical bridge spam deck. However, Pedro is pulling out the miner. It's gonna have, I would assume he's gonna have the ball breakers and the marcher. Since he's got the tornado version of this. Sometimes this deck runs bats, but I think this version that he's running is going to be the Marcher one without it. But okay. So is Pedro playing Balloon then? I guess it'll be Hero Balloon since he's got the Xe. And he's just decided to go with the Valkyrie rather than the Giant Skelly because the deck that he's got right now typically runs Giant Skelly with the Xe. And so that's what I thought SK might be playing when he pulled out the Giant Skelly, but then he pulled out the Graveyard. However, it is looking like Pedro's going to have Hero Balloon. There it is right there. And so what do we think his last spell's going to be? Is there a chance he's going to try to cheese him with like freeze? Oh, zap. I guess that's typically what they play, the zap. That makes sense. Pedro pulling out the miner. Man, yeah, somebody, it's already clipped. You're cooked. I'm really pulling out the unintentional references here today, I guess. Oh, look at that ability right there. Okay, kind of unnecessary tornado. Because Valkyrie was going to take out the furnace anyway, I think. But it's fine because he got so much value. He should be all good. It's just, it sucks because he could have used the NATO on defense potentially. But the other thing is, Hero Valk is a great counter to Graveyard, by the way, if you play the ability, because she spins around so fast, which fills the void because Evo Valk now sucks against Graveyard because she doesn't one-tap Skellies. So if she's spinning on an Graveyard, she's going to pull those half HP Skellies into the tower. So they're going to get a little bit more damage. Whereas before, she was kind of like a Evo Tesla, just instantly taking it out. Yeah, this is, honestly, I think it's a pretty good match for Pedro. So with the nerfed range to Xe, he didn't get any damage there. I felt like it was quite aggressive from Pedro, honestly, with the NATO. I thought it was a pretty bad NATO there. So I do think that Dominic's going to take it right here. He's got 3 damage. So all he and he's like really raging pretty hard here today. But this is what I was saying. SK is on a heater. I mean, his micros have been so clean. I think what happened there is Pedro just went too aggressive with that NATO, trying to get damage with the XE, and then he got cooked. But I thought he really should. I thought Pedro really should have won that with the Valkyrie there. I don't think there's. I think he lost that just by trying to go too aggressive. But realistically, I think he should have been able to cleanly defend all of that.
His chance live to make it to World Finals right here, right now. Unfortunately for him, both Adriel and Mugi do not have a golden ticket yet. So if he wants this ticket, there is no handouts right now. There's no handouts.
Yeah.
He needs to get all the way through this lower bracket.
Oh, we've got another question. It says, who received the July golden ticket as runner up? Oh, so obviously not Mugi because they just said. I think it's Sev. No, it's Clown. It's Clown. Yeah, it was Clown. So by the way, guys, if you are keeping track of that, make sure to pick Clown. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Dominic. Sorry I ever doubted him. I mean, he's pulling out a freaking heater here. I mean, you know, that last game with his graveyard, it's more of like I don't know if you'd necessarily call it beatdown, but kind of because it has Giant Skelly and Furnace. But in general, his micros altogether have just been phenomenal. He's been doing really well. Okay, it says, who do you think will win, Mugi or Adriel? Mugi. Yeah, Mugi. Adriel could definitely take it, but I think Mugi is gonna get that one for sure. Okay, so here is the leaderboard. So this is what I was talking about with Viper. Viper's 905. Morton also 905. Gearco, he yesterday with his advancements put himself 910. I think Mo knocked him out this morning. But so Mugi, if you see Mugi up here, qualifies based on his points today so far. But prior, he did not have that many points, as well as Adriel. So this is the thing. Adriel doesn't have a golden ticket, but it doesn't matter because points-wise, he's going to even jump Clown. Should he win again, he'll get some more points. If not, he's at least at 14, whatever. And all of these players are going to be far unreachable in terms of beating him. Now, SK, Mr. SK, is all the way down here. So SK, no matter what, will not have enough points. If he wants to qualify, he's going to either have to get his golden ticket today or win it in the last chance qualifier. Now, I'm not sure how many people get in last chance, and I'm not sure how many tournaments last chance qualifiers they actually do. Yo, Havoc, you said I'm your 400th subscriber. Love the vids, bro. Oh, I appreciate you. That's nice. I didn't even see the sub count. Did we gain some today? That's nice. Yeah, Havoc, I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all the support, especially, you know, it's really cool. So like, while I don't, you know, have a big following on here at all, what's really cool is with the lower like following, I get to more so interact with you guys, and it's I have such a core group of a couple of you guys, especially like you, Turn Up, and a couple other people that really show the support, and I really appreciate that for sure. And it's just really cool being able to like interact, and that's why I like streaming for sure. So there'll definitely be more streams for sure. I just this meta this season was just kind of like extremely toxic, and I just wasn't playing that much, to be honest. But I appreciate you having getting me to that 400 subscriber mark. That's what's up. And thank you for sure for dropping in and putting a comment on the stream. I appreciate that for sure, bro. By the way, has anybody been? I'll continue calling out the points, by the way, on this little question thing for the eBabes emote. But has anybody actually been keeping track of that? Like, has anybody been doing those? Oh, by the way, guys, since we are deeper into, I want to say the semi-finals now. Let's see. Yeah, so now we are at the upper bracket final. So it is best of 5. So this is going to be, they're going to have to win 3. Now you haven't. Okay, all good. I'm gonna keep calling it out though, just in case anybody pops in and they're like, because okay, because I had somebody. So I was like streaming a little bit of yesterday, had some technical difficulties or whatever. So I was like testing and whatnot. But I had somebody come in and say that I guess a lot of people uh, will join some of the streams just to see the right answers for them. So that's why today I'm just making sure to, I have it pulled up on my iPad off to the side and I'm just trying to call it out. But yeah, I understand not keeping track of it because it is cool getting the emote. But I remember one of them last year, it was like a skeleton emote for the Skarmy, the Evo Skarmy, I think. And he did like this, like the neck cut. And I was trying to keep up with it, but I missed like one or two, and I ended up not getting the emote, and it was pretty like annoying to not get it after like trying to sit there on the phone and make sure I get it. Uh, Juba Gaming, you said, "Who are you?" My name is Lake. Steel Lake. Steel is my dog, my Cane Corso, the big boy. And for those of you who don't know, in the military and police, which I'm not in either, but in those they rank dogs a rank higher above the handler. So in my pretty much my handle on like all socials is Steel Lake, and I put Steel first because yeah, he outranks me. Pretty much. But yes, that's who I am. But so in this matchup in particular here, we have Adriel with the diabolical bridge spam variant with the Hero Valkyrie, which honestly I have not seen much of Hero Valkyrie, and I expected, because for example, in this deck, most people have been running Golden Knight, and I always thought to myself, why don't people run Hero Valkyrie instead? Because yeah, her ability is 3 elixirs, but she's so much stronger than a Golden Knight, because she's like actively taking out things, whereas Golden Knight, his base stat card just doesn't do a whole lot. But so Adriel is pulling it out here. Paul's full Diddy. And then Moogie is just rocking the standard Piggly Wigglies with the Goblin Stein that we have seen in every set by every player today. In terms of matchup wise, I would say Adriel has a strong matchup with the Valkyrie, always being able to decimate the pigs and then causing all the pressure with the E-Babes. And Evo E-Babes render things like the Skellies useless, as well as he also has the Mother Witch, which is always a annoying card to deal with, especially for any of you guys that play Hog Xe like I do. It feels like they always are able to get the Mother Witch onto the goblins. Not again. I know. I wasn't even thinking about it, and it's like the third time I made like a pulling out or sus reference. The Pedro one was pretty diabolical earlier. Yeah, the Pedro is pulling out the miner. That's pretty wild. Okay, so I think Adriel is gonna like finish it off here. Um, the elite barbs, they just so much, and the thing is, like, even if you stop the elite barbs, you then have to deal with the Evo Ram, and the E-barbs are still on the map, as you can see, and they do like 500 per swing, by the way. And then behind that, you got the Hero Valk coming. So yeah, that's going to be a good game. Adriel's going to take the first one. Really good matchup. But what we'll see in this format, Um, since it is best of 5, especially if they go deeper into this set, what we for sure are going to see is you start to see some like weird decks have to come out, right? Because since you can't repeat cards, it gets pretty wild. Once they get towards the end, you start seeing some mid-ladder-esque decks that could pop up. He said, I think Hero Valky's just been overshadowed by Evo E-Babes and Zerker. Yeah, I agree for sure. And so that's why I was saying, even though I'm a Hog Xe enjoyer, I try to always be like non-biased in terms of cards that are in my deck. And so in Hog Xe, we can't really spam. So Hero Valk can get me a lot of value, but she has to be like full health or else her ability, or at least tanked for, or else her ability is kind of wasted. However, in bridge spammy decks, that's why I was having a hard time saying if she's busted or not, because she's just been so overshadowed by the Elite Babe spams, and then the Berserker, her ability just abolishes everything, no matter what, right? But the thing is, Berserker and Valkyrie, their abilities are 3 elixir, so it's still quite expensive, so you have to use it at the right time. Now, the thing with Berserker, she's such a defensive weapon because you could have 10 elixir coming at her, she pops the ability, and she's going to kill it all. With that being said, I do think Supercell has to be careful with both of them, because if they nerf them too heavily, it's just going to kill them, because it's a 3 elixir ability. It's kind of like the Hero Musketeer. Pretty much nobody uses that anymore. I've seen it a little bit in 2.6 just because the Hero Ice Golem's not as strong. It's still pretty strong, but it's not as strong, so we don't see it as much, which so anyway, the point is that if they nerf her ability a little too much, then Hero Valkyrie will just drop off again. So, well, I guess technically not again because it's new, but it'll drop off is the point. He said it's low-key iconic the way you call the cards with the nicknames. Yeah, yeah. It started as like, I think I heard it from Sweaty Clash, and then I just started kind of making names for all of them. Like, I think I always heard him say Fireclapper, and there's a couple others, I forget. But then, yeah, it's like you just come up with new names for all of them. My favorite is I always talk about the Mega Nuts, especially, when you go Hog Rider and you can tell the opponent's not playing anything. You're like, 600-pound Lard's about to drop out of the sky, and then it's like, he has Mega Nuts. Yeah, I just started saying it, and then I realized I was like, oh, that's kind of when I'm saying he has Mega Nuts, like it's just like I'm saying his. You get what I'm. But yeah, well, especially in a game when it can become so brain dead and spammy, like you have to have a little fun with it, or else it just makes you want to like rage quit all the time. He said, I predicted it. Yeah, yeah. Now, this matchup with the poison, do we think Adriel's running Graveyard, or would it be like because he has the poison, so that's why I'm kind of thinking with the barb barrel. So obviously, like, this could be a piggies, but he's not gonna have piggies because he's already got the Evo slot. Kind of said in German, Goblinstein is Dr. Frankabold, and I've ended just calling him Dr. Freakabold. That's funny. Yeah, so I heard somebody, I think it was Alt, start calling it Goblinstein, because somebody and there's like I forget the guy's name, but he had a YouTube where he was talking about like the Gobby cost or something, and he was referencing Goblinstein as Jeffrey Epstein, so he was like, he just started calling it Goblinstein. So for Goblinstein, that's the only nickname I had for that was like Goblinstein. But you said Dr. Freakabold. Maybe I'll start calling him that, because that would be funny, because then people that, aside from you guys here in the chat right now, they'll have no idea what I'm talking about if I start saying Freakabold, Dr. Freakabold. Oh, by the way, guys, Moogie. So it is Graveyard, and Moogie's got the Mother Witch. So in theory, Moogie should win this one. However, if Adriel plays really well, he could still be able to get it. He'll just have to be careful with the graveyards, because the Mother Witch potential. But he could, try to get some pretty good poison value, which we see here. I think Moogie's going to take this for sure. I think Adriel's defending now, but especially once we get to triple, I don't think he's going to really be able to. Because the Mother Witch just causes so many, like you see it here, Mother Witch, piggies, and then he's got the Bandit has all the, she's high pressure, of course the Elite Babes, of course the Hero Valk, the Evo Ram. So there's just so many. And honestly, I wouldn't mind playing a bridge spam variant like this. For some reason, I just don't like Bandit or Mother Witch. I wouldn't want to play either of those two. I'd probably go like E-Wiz instead of Mother Witch, because that gives you more versatility against air. But yeah, so Adriel is going to throw in the towel here, because he kind of sees that. Yeah, Moogie's very good. I think Moogie has 3 titles, right? Like Moogie's won 3 world titles, maybe 2. But I think it was just prior to Mo, and then Mo's. So Moogie's a really good player. He's kind of like just that step up above Adriel. He's just not quite like Mo is, that then just next like step up kind of on his own, not to like, how you say, glaze him. I guess that would be the word. Not to glaze him too hard, but yeah, I mean, I think that was just a really tough matchup for Adriel. He does have, 3 more games he would have to win out. However, like we were just looking at the bracket earlier, no matter what, both of these guys are going to qualify on points either way, even if they don't get that golden ticket. But I'm not sure, is there like a benefit to having a golden ticket on top of, because obviously with the golden ticket, you qualify no matter what. But I'm saying within the players that qualify, whether you qualify via points or golden ticket, is there like a benefit to having the golden ticket as opposed to just qualifying on points, or is it kind of just ranking based? Because I'm wondering, like, I mean, obviously these guys, they play these for money once they're already qualified, but I was just kind of like wondering if there's significance, because they were talking about it earlier.
It's tough. So I think that, I don't know, it does seem like Adriel's in a slightly better like advantage, but just based on the fact that he has both Fireball and Lightning available, those being the 2 strongest spells in the meta right now.
Man, it's crazy when I go through and I look at Moogie's deck pool from this weekend. He's only got 2 losses all weekend long so far until getting to this set, and they both come with Royal Hogs. Whereas he has been perfect with the bridge spam, perfect with bait, perfect with the Royal Hogs Royal Ghost deck that we saw. Mortar and Hoggy Q has all been perfect for him.
Wow.
He's only lost twice, and both of those versions were the Royal Hogs Goblinstein version. So a lot available for him out.
So I know this is the final, but by the way, is it like, is the lower bracket fully done already? Is there I guess I should, because there's the upper bracket. What? Because whoever wins out of the lower, they then play. Let's look here. Right. Okay. Okay. So basically, SK's won the lower. So now, whoever
A couple
wins.
years ago.
Oops. Whoever wins the upper here is then going to play SK, and SK is going to have to go ahead and win twice, win the bracket twice. He'd have to win, then hit a bracket reset, then win again to Mugi or Adriel, I guess. Or wouldn't he, technically wouldn't, like, whichever one of these guys wins, the other one loses, goes down, plays Dominic, and then whichever of those two that wins then plays. I think you get what I'm saying. We'll see, I guess. You said, I'm wondering how much you bench. You look very big. I appreciate that. So funny enough, I actually haven't been in the gym for a year and a half now. So I do want to get back into it soon. Um, I I really just I run with steel with Big Boy, and I have some dumbbells here that I lift occasionally, and I do pull-ups on the running trail a little bit. But when I was benching, the maximum I did, I think it was like it was somewhere in between like the 430, 450 range. I know that's odd because typically you remember the exact maximum, but I'm just thinking because I'm pretty sure it was like 4 plates at 25 and a 10. Might have been a 5. And I think I did it for 2 reps. But it's been a while since I've been in the gym, period. But even when I get back into the gym, I'm not as big as I used to be when I was in high school in terms of like, not size wise, but I mean I'm not as big into like maxes because I got hurt that way in high school. I blew out both my shoulders like deadlifting. But yeah, I will get back into the gym soon for sure. I definitely love the gym, getting strong. But no, see, and this is, I could go on a side tangent even about it. I hate, like, I never understood when people hop on like gear to be in the gym to like look bigger and do these certain things. And I'm like, then you lose your natural, like, I don't know. You can't even, like, you see these big roided up guys, they're not even, they can't even move that well. They can't, like, just normal day activities. It's a problem. They're trying to walk up the steps and they're out of breath, you know what like that whole thing. Um, but anyway, I do, funny enough, still like deadlifting quite a lot when I was back in the gym, even though that's kind of what blew out my shoulders. But that was just my fault. It was just because I was at a weight that I couldn't grip, but I knew I could lift it, and I didn't have chalk or straps or anything. And so I was trying to like yank on the bar, and I basically just ended up blowing my shoulders out because I was being an idiot and I was in high school. Ego lifting. So anyway, Moogie's gonna take this again here, by the way. So yeah, that was a looked like pretty good matchup for him. There's other side effects as well. Yeah, that's a good point. You said I stay far away from gear. Yeah. So the other side effects, even some of the influencers that take it, some of them don't even respond very well, and they don't get that like strong. And they actually, I'm sure you guys have seen the ones that get all the freaking bumps all over their body. It almost looks like a shell, like a hard shell of. It's not even like acne. It's like mega acne. Um, Not to mention the simple fact of like you're cutting your life, like your heart, it gets abnormally large, and a lot of times, these guys will. I mean, some of them don't even make it out of their 30s, let alone 20s, let alone 30s, I guess. But very few, like what you would call hyper responders, like Sebum and um, Arnold. Those guys are what you would call like hyper responders. And I think they say with no sides is what they call it, because they don't get like side effects. But I don't know the exact stats. I would say 8 out of 10 steroid users probably get heavy side effects if you're like blasting. But also the biggest thing for me is you're no longer fertile, right? When you blast gear, then you can't even have children, and you then have to take your endocrine system breaks, and you then have to take um, some kind of test or whatever for the rest of your life. And this is extreme, but I always think like, imagine your country, wherever it is, gets into a war and you get shipped off to war and you can no longer access the test or something. Then your endocrine system's just cooked and you're just like, or what if one day it becomes illegal? It's technically still not even legal now, but one day it becomes unobtainable, then you're just cooked because your natural systems can't function anymore. He said, I'm not big into weights. I prefer calisthenics since I rock climb. Oh, yeah, that's rock climbing is very tough. I'm sure you have like exceptional grip strength then with rock climbing. Rock climbing is very, very challenging. Calisthenics too. I'm all for like especially when I get back to the gym, I'll get like much stronger again, but I'm always about function, like the body function. Because what's the point of having big muscles if you can't really use them? Yeah, yeah, calisthenics, they're tough. They're very tough. Um, even something as simple as like pull-ups can still be very tough. Not to mention like handstands, things like that. Radius, you said, yeah, yeah, Supercell said hi. Yeah, earlier, somebody popped in. It's not like actually Supercell, because I clicked on the account and they only had, I think, like 4 subscribers, and it said like Supercell Shorts. But yeah, they came in and said hi, gave me a good little scare there. Um, but anyway, yeah, for this matchup, right? We knew it was going to be ballooned once we saw Xe and Giant Skelly. Xe's only been used in CRL with this Giant Skelly deck here, which I guess is understandable because the only other deck would be either Hog Xe or Elixir Golem, and Hog Xe is quite niche. Oh, he has Diddy Cage though, and that's what I was talking about. We start to see some like different cards being used, because in this format, when they have to play 5 games with like all these different decks without repeating cards. Radiath, you said, can I be moderator? Oh, I don't need any mods just yet. I appreciate you asking though. You said I'm working on getting my pull-ups to 1 finger right now. It's 2. Wow, yeah, that's really good. Even one-handed pull-ups are really hard. I I used to always love doing like weighted pull-ups and weighted dips. Dips were probably my favorite. But I definitely need to. I've been doing more and more pull-ups again. Like I said, when I run, there's like pull-ups around the trails, but I need to get back into the being able to do one-handed pull-ups. I want to see how many subs does Supercell have. Oh, they only had 4 because I clicked on the account. It said like Supercell Shorts or something. So it wasn't actually the real Supercell. It was just somebody created. Plus, if it was Supercell, I think it would have had like a check by its name, by the name or something. Oh, Cage in that Loon deck. Yeah, yeah. Typically, it's like Bomb Tower, right? Or they use Cannon, I think. But he's saving. I would imagine he's saving Bomb Tower for if he has to pull out a deck like I think like Piggies or there's a couple other decks that he could use. But yeah, I mean Mugi with the graveyard here, he's getting way ahead, but you know, don't count the balloon Adriel out because like we saw earlier, there was who was it? It was SK Dominic, of course, with the balloon. He was losing down quite a bit, and then he cheesed his opponent and ended up winning with the late balloon shots. So balloon is one of those cards that, you know, it's really not over till it's over. He said so Supercell is a bot like Lucky Clash Royale. Oh yeah, I didn't see Lucky Clash Royale's message, so it must have been filtered out. Even though I think I turned that off, but on like Twitch earlier, I did have a bot. It's like diffused dessert or something. It's like a they sell view bots or something came in, but it's the Lucky Clash Royale. I wasn't able to see that one. I wonder why they're using Dark Prince. Yeah, Mugi takes it there. I wonder why they're using Dark Prince in Graveyard instead of Knight or Valk. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess just because it causes it's high pressure without having to spend more elixir while maintaining a cheaper cycle. Also, because the hero Valk could potentially make it easier to get King active. But yeah, I was wondering that too yesterday why in all the graveyard matches not a single time did we see Hero Knight. So that's Hero Knight's just I guess the Knight is just kind of a weaker card right now. Uh no Radiant, I don't need any mods right now, but once I start streaming more, if I, you know, get more people, then I'll definitely let you guys know. Wow, I knew Mugi was good, but I didn't know he was this good. Yeah, he's got multiple titles as well. He's like he was the one winning just prior to Mo, I believe. What is that number 3-1? You mean in terms of like matchups? Yeah, yeah. Mugi beat him 3-1. So I think what that means now is that Adriel is gonna play. Oh, I don't need to time out anybody yet. It's all good. Okay, question real quick, guys. If anyone's keeping track of the points, we have what stat was removed from Goblin Drill against towers? Obviously the spawn damage. By the way, that's going to be the correct answer for that if anybody's doing that. Yeah, yeah, Moogie's really good. He's playing really well right now as well, but so is Dominic lately. So I guess it'll be Dominic and Adriel right here for the lower, and then the winner will go back and play Moogie. So it could be Adriel versus Moogie again. No, Radiath, I'm good. I'm good right now. Appreciate you though. Because I can manage that as well over here. That's not Clash Royale anymore. Yeah, yeah, you're right. the game has gone pretty far from like what Clash used to be, right? Because when I was playing, like I just came back to the game about like a year ago probably, and prior, we didn't have any evos, any heroes, any of that, and now it's just kind of wild. I said, "What's this game?" Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gone pretty far from the Clash Royale that we all used to know. It's kind of diabolical, to be honest. Oh, here, I'll change it for you so that you can actually see what they're doing on the short thing here. But yeah, they're just replaying on the thing. We got some heroes in Evo. It's Hero Berserker, Hero Valkyrie, and Elite Barbs, also Hero Mega Knight. Yeah, so I'm not sure if Hero Mega Knight's actually coming to the game or if it was like more of a teaser. I mean, I'm sure eventually it'll come, but I'm not sure if they just kind of did that as a troll since everybody was saying like drop Hero Mega Knight since they're nerfing Evo, right? So, but when Hero Mega Knights does make its way to the arena, that will be terrifying. Here, I'll turn this on
that
for you
bar
guys.
barrel on offense to try to go bar barrel plus graveyard, instead going berserker plus graveyard. All of that recognition is so good by Mugi. It's always in cycle, it's always ready to go, and you absolutely love to see it. Remember, guys, we are very close to our World Finals being held in Shanghai, November 6th through the 8th here. And go to event.supercell.com/Clash Royale to follow along with the action when we actually get to the LCQ, when we get to the World Finals. And then make sure you're following along with Esports Royale EN to see, when ticket information comes available. I know that those tickets have been kind of going quickly over the last couple years of World Finals. And we always get a lot of DMs.
Oh, yeah.
From people to get those free tickets. Which make sure you guys hop on that as soon.
Yeah, Radiath. So basically we are watching like the monthly finals of Clash Royale right now. This is the Clash Royale main broadcast here, and so I'm kind of just watching it and like commentating on it and hanging out with you guys and calling out there's like a little points thing on the side for like a free elite barbarian emote that Supercell's running, so I've just been kind of calling that out. But yeah, I'm not actually playing. Yeah, I'm watching Clash.
The choice of deck here. Maybe Dominic wants to just remind Adriel of what just happened, run another version of this bait deck that Adriel struggled against. But at the same time, Adriel just has more experience in this best of 5 format.
Yeah, I feel like this is like a tilt troll play where it's like, you know what really pissed Adriel off was this deck, and I'm going to run it in game number 1 just to get him right back in his head.
Evo minion horde dropping down. I just got really important information from the analyst that's been helping us today. Shout out to Jury. He said that Doom has actually been picking for himself this entire weekend when it comes to his decks. But the problem that, I mean, that in itself is very impressive, even in best of 3. But that becomes very, very difficult to do in a best of 5 format.
Yeah, we're always saying that the best of 3s is obviously where the coach and the analysts come through, but the best of 5 is where they really make their money.
Yeah. Okay, so looking at this matchup, though, we have Mortar versus Hyperbait. I think that in general, this can be difficult on both sides of the equation because you don't have a lot of splash damage and spells for the Hyper. He does have the Mother Witch, but it gets distracted on the Skelly King. And then on the other hand, you know, there's not really much to actually counter the Mortar.
My bad, guys. I had to handle something real quick, but yeah. So Dominic here, he will have to beat Adriel. Turnip. he'll have to beat Adriel, and then he'll have to go beat Mugi as well. So in this match, Dominic is pulling out a ballsy hyper spam. He has cannon though, which is interesting. They never have cannon, but he is doing that to try to, I guess, add to the defense, which is not a bad call. I'm not really sure what his last card's going to be though. It might be like Rocket. So he might be kind of saving it for the Evo Mortar or Minion Horde, but I guess we shall see soon. Radiath, you said I'm gonna. Oh, it's Vines. Nice. Okay, so that's not bad for SK here. However, Adriel does have the Mother Witch though, so could pan pretty well, especially on the Skelly Barrel. I know with Skeleton Army, Mother Witch doesn't do all that well because, like, yeah, there's so many skeletons and she's spawning pigs, but at the same time, as soon as those pigs spawns, the remaining skellies are killing the pigs. So that's why she does really well against Graveyard, but not as well against Skeleton Army. You said, I'm going to watch now. All right, Radiath. Yeah. So Dominic has to beat Adriel, and then if he beats Adriel, he'll go up and play Mugi. Because this is like the final to the lower bracket. So since Adriel hadn't lost yet, when he just lost to Mugi, it then dropped him down to the to this right here. I think I got a timeout because I don't know the guy. I'm No, you didn't get timed out. You're the only. It is interesting because you're the only one in the that's like chatting in the shorts thing, but it says you're the number 3 chatter, so I'm not sure. But no, you didn't get timed out. No, I can see your messages. They're right here. All the messages are sent. I am live on horizontal and vertical, so that's why you can't see the messages in the horizontal unless you go to the horizontal chat, but I can see them all right here because I have them like configured together. Let's hear what Mr. Juicy has to say.
Dual lane pressure, and Adriel just over defends the right side. He's low in elixir. He's in an awkward hand. He has to sacrifice his Mother Witch to the Skelly King. He has one last chance to attack, but at that point, it's just too little too late.
And it felt like the Vines had been kind of misused throughout most of that game. And then at the most important moment, they come in so clutch and just close things out. I mean, that is just, Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. He has such a better matchup. You know, there's not a spell for the minion horde. The Goblinstein ability is there. The Mother Witch is there. There's just so many ways to kind of abuse the spam that you're running into.
Yeah, Dominic is cooking. Dominic is definitely on one today. I mean, this is yeah, he's definitely doing phenomenal. Radiath, you said say in the chat, why can't Radiath talk? I'm not bro, what are you talking about? I see all your chats. You're in the you're the only one chatting in the shorts feed here. Or are you talking about in the main like Clash Royale feed? Like as in Clash Royale's channel? Because they have like their own like strict mods there and stuff. So they could have timed you out in that one, but you're not timed out here. I can see all your messages. Oh, I see what you're saying. So they timed you out in here. Yeah. Yeah. I think it so used to they didn't really moderate it, but then everyone would spam like because they would drop like links to emotes or chest or whatever, and so then everybody would spam that they were like scamming or to send a link. So then I think they started moderating that chat, and you know it's hit or miss with mods on YouTube and stuff. Some of them they try to like abuse their power and they just mod too heavily and censor things, and then some of them are more laid back. The thing is, it's kind of just like a power trip for some people. It's kind of like the one thing in life that makes them feel like they have power, so they'll get on as a mod and they just kind of abuse it in terms of stream. So, do you have moderator in the stream? No, I do not. I've just been doing the moderator myself. But because I don't have that many like viewers, so I don't like really need mod right now. So like earlier, I had somebody on, I had a bot on Twitch, so I just like banned it from the Twitch, but I haven't had to do anything on YouTube about it. Oh, Adriel. I think Adriel's going to be running Graveyard, and Dominic's going to be playing the bridge spam decks. Dominic is very good with these high pressure and the beatdown decks. So yeah, Dominic's going to be running.
Hey, yo.
Anyway, sorry guys. I just had to handle something else because I'm actually going to be IRL streaming after this outside with the dogs at the river. So if you guys are interested in that, I think I'll only be live on Kick because um, off of my phone, I can't stream to YouTube on my main account on my phone and Kick just because I don't have it set up. And my iPhone's the older iPhone, so it's not really uh, all that good with like streaming and stuff. It overheats. But you said, bro, like it's just one message and you can't talk anymore in their streams. Oh, so they must have turned on slow mode in the main chat. So that means basically like every minute or so you can only put one message. You superhero edit said you said I think Adriel will take this. Yeah, so I've been rooting for like Adriel or Pedro in the matches, and Dominic has always come out on top. So Dominic, see, I didn't really know SK Dominic. Turn up veggie, turn up the root veggie. um, knows Dominic because Dominic's a Lava Hound player. So turn up was always like put some respect on Dominic's name, and Turnip's been right. Dominic has been impressing, and I think he's going to get it right here. One of these E-Babes spears, I thought was going to snipe it, but it actually didn't. But I think SK is going to get this one right here, and so I thought Adriel was going to win, but Dominic is on a heater right now, so I feel like he'll take it. You said, do they have a message limit? No. So typically on like if a big channel turns on like slow mode, they typically don't really have like a limit. They just have like you can only send a message either every minute or every 3 minutes, and they do that to stop people from spamming the chat. But it does suck because you can't like send messages back and forth. Oh, what's my kick? My kick is, I believe, let me look. I think it's just Steel Lake. But I will look for the username and then I'll go ahead and type it in the chat so that it's not. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's literally when you stream on Kick. So I've been uh, inconsistent. I'm just gonna start. So like the other day, I streamed in the morning. I went to the river with the dogs to film something, and after this, I'll probably stream. So it'll be whenever. I'll probably stream on it more. I like Kick. I just started it though, so I don't think I even have any followers on there. So I'm like trying to build that right now. But so that is just the Kick username. I think it's like kick dot. I don't know. It's like I don't know the main. I think it's like kick dot or Steel Lake / something whatever. But if you go on there and search Steel Lake, I should be the first one, and you'll see my same profile pic. I mean, if so, Radius, if you got timed out on there, then that might be why you can't. But if they put it on slow mode, then it's just you can't send a message like per time frame.
The
I was confused. The main broadcast was like not saying anything. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not sure then, Radith, because if you were like timed out, it would say if you try to message, it'll be like grayed out and it'll say you've been timed out for however long. And if it was on slow mode, it would tell you there. So I'm not really sure what's happening with that. Oh, I appreciate you turn up the root veggie. I appreciate you for following the Kick. Yeah, I've streamed only a couple times on there. Um, I have like this gimbal actually, this right here, and you can like fold it out and then put the like phone on it, and it's off right now, so that's why it's like swinging. But it's cool because my bag has like a holster in it because it's like a protection bag, how you call it. And so I can actually, there's like a holster in one of the pockets, so I can actually put this in one of the pockets, and while me and the dogs are walking, I can have it right here. But soon I'm getting a new phone because, like I said, my phone's old. It's the 12 like Pro Max or whatever, so it's old. So anyway, I'm getting a new one, and I'll be able to keep that phone. So I'll have like a second phone for like chat, so I'll be able to read chat while it's like filming right here. But then also once we get to the spot where we're like chilling, hanging out, then I like, you know, pull it out so that you guys can see whatever's going on. Said, what's that you're holding? What does it do? This is a gimbal. It's for your phone, so that you can like record or stream, and it just stabilizes it as you're moving. So here it's on now, and it's got like all these different modes, and then there's like an analog stick on here, so I can like, if I attach the phone to it, it'll sense it, and then I can start moving the phone. It's just not doing anything right now because I didn't put the attachment on to hold the phone. It also has a power bank on it too. Yeah, Dominic's playing lava, so that's pretty much GG's. For Adriel. I mean, that's honestly power move. You're up 3-0. You might as well go to your bread and butter. No radio thought. I'm not going to turn on slow mode. I don't need to right now. So the last two cards from Dominic, obviously lava, and then a big spell. So we'll see which big spell he's running because he has all of them available. He hasn't used any of them. And then Adriel, I'm not sure. I'm not. I mean, I guess it could be Earthquake. Okay, so he has this, so it's probably Earthquake then. Because I was gonna say it's obviously not. Yeah, Earthquake. It's obviously not Mega Nuts because he has. Oh, see, like he's kind of tower down there. Nothing Dominic can do. I think he's just gonna try to build up a big push here, which I agree with. But here's the other thing: if Dominic loses this, it doesn't really matter, right? Because he's up 2-0 right now. So. If I turned on slow mode, it would just mean that you guys, there's like different durations. Like I could set it for 60 seconds or a minute. I mean, that's a minute. Or like 2-3 minutes. There's different intervals. So it just means that like you guys would only be able to chat every so often on that. You said, I'm very surprised he went for Evo Barbs over Hero Mega Minion. Yeah, me too, because in that matchup it could have been handy because he could have sniped the Fire Clapper. But I think since all the nerfs to Mega Minion, a lot of people just don't seem to be using it anymore because you now have time to react and block the the Mega Minion. Yeah, he lost, but I think he's still going to be able to pull it back here for sure. Because, you know, he only has to win one more game, and Adriel has to win 2. So it's definitely advantage Dominic. As well as, you know, he did just use Lava Hound, so I feel like that was kind of expected for him to use Lava Hound. So at the very least now with his next 2 matchups, he's going to be a bit more unpredictable in terms of what he's going to pull out. But he hasn't used Mortar, right? And so apparently what they were saying earlier is, like you said, he's a Lava Hound player, but he's also apparently a pretty good Mortar player too. So he's still got Mortar available. He could go for that because he has the Goblinstein also available. And then in terms of E-Babes, he used them earlier, the bridge spam matchup, right? I'm trying to Yeah, so he did use them earlier, so he doesn't have that. But he could do like a mortar bait with like the miner and the minion horde, because remember that deck was popular too, like 2-ish seasons ago, whenever the Evo minion horde came out. He did just use, like balloon and things like that, but in terms of spells, he's still got quite a few available, because he's really only used a bunch of small spells. So honestly, I think he's in a pretty good spot right now. Adriel, the king of BMing, decides not to BM back. He's got Tombstone and Zap. So does that mean Adriel's trying to pull out the Lava Hound and Dominic's going for Piggies? Okay, so Adriel's going to have the Xe, and he'll have Evo Xe and Hero Balloon, I would assume. And then Dominic is breaking out the busted Piggies with what did you call it earlier? I have to look up. What did you call it earlier? Dr. Freakabold? Dominic's pulling out the Piggies with the Dr. Freakabold, also known as Jeffrey Goblinstein. But the Xe will do well in this matchup. Now, if SK can force... So here's the thing. Xe does well with the lineups, but something like Dr. Freakabold, the Goblin itself, once it gets close to the Xe in front, like it can then cause Xe to kind of hit one way or the other, which would then not line it up on the things behind. So you can tactically stack things up like that and make Xe miss, or you can try to spread things out. But I would assume Adriel's his last card's gonna be Tornado. So I guess okay, Dr. Freak Bold, not Freako Bold. Okay, I got you. So yeah, I think Adriel is in a decent spot having the Tornado here, but the Goblins, the Dr. Freakbold, he's gonna have quite some value if he gets the proper lineups here. But I do think this is where Dominic is really going to be tested in terms of not letting Adriel build up a big push. Whereas when we've seen the Piggies win this matchup earlier, it was because they did not allow the Balloon Giant Skelly player to build up that big push. Because if you allow that, then you're going to be in some trouble trying to defend. So, and that's something that lesser experienced players struggle with, myself included, is when you're playing certain decks, you have to know, like the other decks you're not familiar with, you have to know in what matchups you're supposed to play more aggressive and what matchups you're supposed to like split lane and be more passive and stuff. So I don't know why some messages keep self-deleting. It happened twice, maybe poor connection. Oh yeah, I wasn't sure if, because I thought earlier you did, because I can, even if they say message retracted, I can still see them. And so I wasn't sure if earlier you did that because like spelling error or something, but yeah, it's no big deal. It could be it could be connection. It is showing like excellent on my end though. But I'm not sure. The whole YouTube thing's been a bit finicky here recently anyway. And see, another thing is if Dominic can force out the Evo Xe and not allow Adriel to get like a giant skelly balloon push with said Xe. See, like he forced out the Evo Xe and then he has Evo Pigs here. So like obviously Adriel would have wanted to hold on to the XE for the Evo Pigs, but he made him overspend here. So this is looking pretty good for Dominic right now. And he's just going to have the bomb tower. Now the problem with bomb tower obviously is that it doesn't hit air. But since we are in triple, Dominic has multiple bomb towers on the board and his archers are able to safely sit back. Now Adriel could try some kind of NATO to pull the archers into XE, or NATO and Zap. But he would have obviously had to do that earlier. It's just something that I'm noting. He just didn't do that. And then Dominic goes ahead and takes it again. So Dominic's continuing his run. So now he's going to get to play... he's going to go up and play... what's his name? Moogie. Dominic's going to have to play Moogie now. So that is going to be tough. But actually, guys, I think I have to go. I know it's sad because we're up to the final set here. But I think I have to go right now. So, yeah, I'll be rooting for your boy Dominic. And definitely next time a stream, let me know who wins. I'll probably check. But, yeah, I'm going to go let the dogs out. And then we are going to go IRL stream. So if you check out the IRL stream, you could let me know there too. Clash with Assassin, is that how you say it? You said good night, bro. I appreciate you. Good night, bro. I appreciate everybody who's come through. We've had quite a long stream here. Oh, by the way, random loot drop for anyone keeping track of the points for the emote. Yeah, we're pretty good stream. 3 hours 50 minutes in, almost 4 hours. Pretty solid. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all. Should be streaming Clash tomorrow, I want to say. Ultimate Champion, of course. And yeah, maybe a video soon. We'll just have to see when I go ahead and film it. But yeah, definitely live soon. Anyway, appreciate y'all. And I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.